Chapter 521 End. Change. Uchiha, Itachi. Naruto opened his mouth slightly, and Sakura behind him let out a sigh of relief. Two of them were the ones who had heard the truth about Itachi from the mouth of Uchiha Obito. So unlike the others present, they can really understand Sasuke's mood. That's why I have always believed in Sasuke. Sasuke is not betraying the village, but his position, which has been forced to swing between the Uchiha family and the village. Which side does he want to stand on? In the end, what is right? In the conversation with the previous generation Hokage, it seems that Sasuke has obtained the most accurate answer. I used to think Itachi was a loser, but it was the Neji guy who made me realize that Itachi's failure was me. Later I felt that Itachi's failure was the result of the failure of this ninja world. Itachi is the perfect big brother and the perfect ninja. Even the ninja body Senju Hashirama said so. However, it would be too frivolous to decide so hastily. I did a lot of thinking and assumptions. Finally, I found that the current Hyuga Neji, although powerful and perfect, he is also a loser. Sasuke said here, it seems that the fatigue on his body has been eliminated, and he immediately stood up firmly. His Mangekyo Sharingan, gleaming with Yuhi's light, is spinning fast. You said that Neji also failed. What the hell is? What happened? Naruto frowned slightly, and couldn't help but regret asking Sasuke. I didn't expect that Sasuke still had such a powerful force of resentment in his heart. You bastard, dare to speak ill of Neji. I don't care what Uchiha clan you are. Kuratashi clenched his fist, hardened to a pitch-black color. Unbeknownst to him, Kuratashi, let Sasuke-kun explain first. Sakura quickly stopped Kuratsuchi, and then put down Naruto who was supporting him. Naruto made a bang to the end, and got up with the pain. Sakura, you tap. Sorry Naruto. Sakura smiled, very sorry that every time she couldn't help thinking of Sasuke, she immediately ignored everyone's feelings. HMPH, it's still the same as it is. However, no matter what, in the end, I will still have a fight with you, Naruto. Sasuke looked down at Naruto sitting on the ground, his eyes full of approval. Naruto was stunned for a moment, then smiled and nodded steadily. Hey, this guy hasn't explained yet. Why call Neji a loser? Kuratashi pouted, as if looking at Sasuke very upset. Sasuke was silent for a moment, stared at Kuratsuchi for a long time, and explained simply, Hyuga Neji is very smart. That guy saw the darkness under the rules of this ninja world very early, and saw how failed this ninja world is. My eldest brother Itachi secretly chose to follow this ninja world, but this Hyuga Neji did not follow the ninja world. He forcibly infiltrated the high-level people and changed the development ecology that Konoha village should have, leading the ninja world to this point. Quote. But, don't you think it's pointless? In the end, the Fourth Ninja World War has begun. Sasuke's words seemed to wake up the dreamer in one sentence. Akatsuki still started catching tailed beasts. No matter how peaceful the big country and village you were born in those dark corners, people die every day. It's this ninja world that is disappointing. As long as people live in this cursed ninja world, there will be no real peace. Neji really doesn't understand this and is the loser. And I will finish his masterpiece, after the war, completely change the pattern of the ninja world. When Sasuke said this, Naruto suddenly stood up slowly. Ah, Sasuke, he suddenly smiled, and everyone couldn't help but be surprised. No matter what, in the end, I will definitely bring you back to the village. He smiled and looked at Sasuke who was close at hand. No matter how far Sasuke's heart is from them, Naruto always feels that his friend is by his side. Ha, ha, ha. Obito's 6 paths transformation is not complete, but the complexion is much whiter, and the incomplete Gudodama truth-seeking ball is transformed into a black fluid state. Madara on the side has arrived at the battlefield. Obito, I have absorbed all of Senju Hashirama's sage art chakra. Next is your Rinnegan. I have to complete the final steps and fulfill our last wish. Madara said, but Obito glanced at him indifferently. I never thought of you as a companion. Madara was startled by Obito's cold words. Obito said, in your plan, Nagato will use Rinne Tensei, Samsara of heavenly life, to bring you back to life. Indeed, if that were the case, there would be no need for such a troublesome move as a ninja war. However, the plan cannot keep up with the changes. Now I also have some changes in my heart, and I want to give these guys a taste of real despair. Madara frowned slightly. The plan is right in front of you. Whatever power you have, you need me to use Rinne Tensei, Samsara of heavenly life, to bring you back to life. So, your situation is delicate right now. Obito's threat left Madara speechless. Okay, I'll do it for you. Madara then hand seal, from his body, Mokuden wood style appeared. Mokuden wood style forms a tube and slid into the ten tails underneath. Ouch! Ten tails roared, the world was like a fission. Desperate. Madara muttered, a strange sneer appeared on the corner of her mouth. Bang! Countless chakras gathered around. Obito frowned slightly and murmured, do you want to use that trick? Madara explained, aren't you trying to make them feel hopeless? Are you going to stop me? Are you seeing your former companion and teacher and wanting to change your mind? Boom! There was a vibration all around, and the ashes were scattered. Obito's face was indifferent, the corners of his mouth bent. No, continue. Boom! With a deafening roar, all the ninja coalition forces on the battlefield covered their ears, and could only hear the command in their minds. The enemy seems to be going to use some kind of move, and they are desperate to survive. The previous Hokages and Killer Bee will withstand the pressure. Everyone must protect themselves. Defend. Idiot. Asshole. Let this uncle stop you this time. Idiot. Killer Bee dashed into the air at a high speed, turning into a tailed beast. Bang bang bang. 3 tailed beast bombs in a row. But hit the 10 tails, all bounced off. Killer Bee bit Kiba and said, damn. It's not a level of power at all. Boom. The world has changed. This guy is going to use the world to change, said the 8-tailed bull ghost. The world has changed. What is that? Killer Bee was also rarely serious. As a human Jinchuriki column force, he clearly felt what a huge chakra he was facing in front of him. It's that guy's move. It's about to fall apart. There's no time to explain. Now pass my word on to the Ninja Alliance. Absolutely avoid this move. Boom. I saw that the sky was spinning, thousands of lightning bolts fell from the sky, and countless tornadoes roared. The land of the mainland began to crack on a large scale, and the waters set off waves of hundreds of meters, submerging a large area of land. Covers the entire battlefield. In just an instant, this shaking world can ruthlessly crush the lives of ninjas. This moment is like the end of the world. Chapter 522 Huang Izumi. Father's Eyes. This is Doomsday. The world has changed. The collapse of the tsunami. Is this the legendary power that even gods fear? We are about to be wiped out. Boom. Doomsday, an atmosphere of despair enveloped everyone. 10 tails roar, head up, giant-tailed beast bomb. With a diameter of 100 meters, it emits light and is about to explode. Obito wraps himself in a black substance, and Madara also turns on Susanoo. It's not good. A tailed beast bomb of that level can't be moved at all. Kakashi was biting on Kiba. Mangekyo's Sharingan almost stared out his eyeballs, and there was no way to create a space to move such a big tailed beast bomb. The world of Ninja World. Is it over? Kakashi looked back blankly and saw that the world had completely changed. The scene at this moment is not an illusion, but a reality. 10 tails really have this ability. There, the second-generation Hokage Tobirama bit Kiba, although he came here to help deal with the 10 tails according to Hashirama's instructions, but to this extent. Even if the 4th generation joins forces, I am afraid they will not be able to deal with it. It's over. Madara, Neji's mouth twitched, forming the last seal. But the next moment, a figure appeared in front of him. Hyuga Neji. Obito narrowed his eyes, glaring at Neji. Looks like it's you who performed this technique. Judging from the chakra flow of your acupuncture points, this technique can only be performed once, and you are not a 10 tails Jinchuriki column force. Use this technique. The technique also consumes a lot, right? Neji's expression was indifferent, as if he didn't care about everything around him. Such a calm attitude, even Madara was a little panicked. He raised the corners of his mouth in disdain and sneered, "Those eyes, Byakugan. Hyuga Neji, you are indeed the ninja that makes my eyes shine in this world. But you haven't reached the level of Hashirama. At this level, even Hashirama I can't stop it. Ha ha ha. Clean up the battlefield, 10 tails. The world is changing." Madara felt a thud in her head the next moment. This is. Madara was surrounded by layers of invisible transparent crystals. Then, he was slowly forced to float into the air, as if someone had trapped him in the water. Is this a water prison technique? No. Madara frowned slightly. She could still see Neji and Obito, and could hear all the voices, but at this moment, it seemed that everything in the world had nothing to do with him. Everything that has changed is beginning to change. 10 tails. Start to stop slowly. As I expected, as long as you control you can control the 10 tails. Sorry, your Mokuden wood style is really too powerful, and you are even better at controlling Mokuden wood style than the original Hokage. Style. The power of Mokuden wood style can already control Kyuubi, 9 tails tailed beast chakra, and you also have Rinnegan. Even this 10 tails chakra can be suppressed. But the eyes of the Hyuga clan are above you. Neji finished speaking. The surroundings had almost completely returned to calm. All the ninjas were frightened and their eyes gathered. Is that Neji? Was it Neji blocking the enemy's move? Great, saved again. Hurry up and send reinforcements now. Absolutely protect Neji's safety. The Uchiha clan has a very powerful forbidden technique, and the demonic illusion imposed on themselves. Izanagi must have the power of both the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan to be able to perform the ultimate demonic illusion. Another technique can be used to restrain Izanagi's ultimate demonic illusion. Izanagi is also the ultimate forbidden technique that can only be performed by sacrificing Sharingan. In addition, Obito said, narrowing his eyes, the Koto Amatsukami of the Eye of Shisui also has infinite possibilities. But you, what the hell? Neji's mouth twitched. The forbidden technique that sacrificed the light of one eye to launch. Don't think that you are the only Uchiha family. This is a technique that surpasses Izanagi, remember it well. This is the Hyuga family. The ultimate technique, Huang Izumi's breath. Huang Izumi. Obito turned his head and looked helplessly at Madara, who was imprisoned in the air. He was as strong as Madara and couldn't break free. It seemed that the part of the time Madara was in had been slowed down 1,000 times, even blinking his eyes was so slow. Neji explained leisurely, using the lost light of Byakugan, the power in exchange is many times greater than Sharingan. Why? Sharingan is just the eyes of 6 Paths Sage's eldest son Indra, but Byakugan is 6 Paths. The source of the Rinnegan of the immortals. Byakugan is more in line with the body of immortals, and the Matsuri is offered only because the light of this world cannot bear the power from Huang Izumi. The power of Huang Izumi can temporarily pull the person who has been hit by this technique into the land of Huang Izumi. This technique has no other ability, it only restricts one person. But there is almost no activation time and activation conditions, and only one needs to be sacrificed. The light of the eyes, even Uchiha Madara, is absolutely unable to break free from this technique. Quote. Neji explained, he let out a sigh of relief, as if he had solved some big trouble. But I also made a gamble, and it turned out that I won. I bet that if this ever-changing spellcaster is controlled, then all the effects of spells will be invalid, so it seems right. And the risk of impure world reincarnation, on the contrary, the risk of this operation is the most obvious, right? Uchiha Obito. Quote. Neji's mouth twitched, eyes wide open, staring straight at Obito. Other hand, Obito broke out in a cold sweat and stared into Neji's eyes for a long time. Don't you say you need to sacrifice the light of one eye? Facing Obito's questioning, Neji's expression turned indifferent. He exhaled slowly, and his eyes looked a little sad. A long time, a gust of wind blew, and he faced the cool breeze and said, "The sacrificed eye is not mine. That Byakugan is the eye that I once obtained in the hands of a descendant of Main Clan." Obito was startled, hesitated for a moment, then chuckled. "Then you are just like me, you took away the eyes of the clan for your own means. These are my father's eyes." Neji's face was indifferent. Although he was a transmigrator, the stage of this body from birth to the age of 5 was almost all memories of his father. Neji also seems to be too deeply into the play, and completely integrates into this father-son relationship. According to the time in this world, it has been 3 years since Neji went to the Kumogakure village to negotiate. 3 years, there are many opportunities. I want to sacrifice this eye to use the breath of Huang Izumi, but I haven't done it. Up to now, it seems that I can't escape. Neji's words were said with a chuckle, but the sadness was more intense. Experience the death of a close relative, Obito can understand Neji's pain even more. Why, Hyuga Neji, this ninja world makes you so desperate. I can feel the darkness in your heart. Why protect him? Obito gasped and took a step back. He wanted to know. Why in this failed ninja world, a strong man like Neji still wants to believe him. And Neji just let out a sigh of relief, stretched out his hand and said, "Because, you are the more hateful guy." Chapter 523 Three Horns. The strongest psychic beast ever. Neji's eyes widened in anger. At this moment, even Uchiha Obito, who was already close to the Six Paths state, was intimidated by Neji. It wasn't the imposing deterrent, but Neji's abnormal appearance that surprised Obito. A few years ago, Obito had sent a spy on Neji, but at that time, he found that Neji was just an idiot who likes to practice secretly by himself. Unexpectedly, without any sign, Neji rose up. A Chunin exam almost made the whole village pay attention to him, and after that, dealing with Orochimaru and clan affairs is a glorious deed, and later to calm down the conflict between Iwagakure village and Kumogakure village, until the sword dance conference, Neji even became a leader. A famous ninja. It took only 3 years for Neji to do this, and Neji disappeared for 2 years, and it was precisely these 2 years that were the key. Almost from an Anbu-level ninja, he suddenly became a powerhouse several times beyond the cage level, and now, Obito was even more surprised by Neji's powerful strength. Hyuga Neji, no matter how strong you are, but now you have no chance against me, because I am close to the Six Paths Immortal. This is the power that created this world, you can't beat me. Obito murmured, seeming very proud. Neji, on the other hand, looked angry and sneered, Six Paths Immortal. Created this world, ridiculous. Obito didn't give Neji a chance to explain, he just sneered. Of course, it was the Six Paths Immortal who founded the ninja. Hyuga Neji, even your ancient Hyuga clan are only descendants of the Six Paths Immortal. Now I have your ancestors' power, with Rinnegan, but just incomplete, and not finished. Obito looked at the 10 tails under his feet and was still wriggling slowly, but after Neji's yellowish Izumi's breath against Madara just now, 10 tails also seemed to be greatly affected. Neji traveled to this world, and the years are inspiring. After such a long time, the Six Paths program has long been forgotten. In other words, almost from now on, how the enemy is going to fight, Neji can only deal with his own improvisation. You said just now that guys like me are hateful, aren't they? Obito took a step back, looking at Neji indifferently. Then, you try to beat me, if you really think I'm hateful. Obito murmured. He took a deep breath and started hand seal. Huh. Neji turned into a white light and immediately came to Obito's side. Quick, don't you want to give me a hand seal? Bang. This is. Crack. Palm hit Obito's palm, knocking Obito's palm back. Obito was knocked back dozens of meters on 10 tails, body, and Neji immediately followed. Although he didn't act rashly, everything he did was to keep an eye on Obito and not give him any opportunity. Don't want me to have any chance to activate the spell. Now I'm ready, but the 10 tails are not ready. After the ceremony is completed, I can keep up with your speed. What you're doing now, it's just slowing down the speed of this world's destruction. What's the point? Besides, that kind of move doesn't make sense to me if it doesn't incorporate sage art. Obito chuckled. Neji narrowed his eyes and explained, it doesn't make sense. Look at your palm then. Obito was startled and stretched out his hand. I saw my hands, just now temporarily to resist Neji's attack, now they seem to be scarred. This is, what the hell is going on? Obito looked up and asked. Neji looked indifferent. It's true that ninjutsu is ineffective for you now, only mixing sage art can break your Rinnegan ability. However, although my gentle fist uses chakra, that chakra only exists in my body. Byakugan, the gentle fist in chakra mode spreads the range of gentle fist through chakra, so it turns gentle fist into taiju, but I just used normal gentle fist is taiju. That said, Neji is already in position, ready to attack at any time. One more thing, you said that what I did was only to slow down the destruction of the world. Then you seem to have understood, what you are doing now is to destroy the world. What do you say about the Moon Eye plan? What makes people dream getting all the perfect endings in the middle of nowhere? It's just a dream. It seems that you understand it yourself. Obito was startled, something deeply hit in his heart. Neji spoke to his heart. And, you are now within my attack range. Neji raised his hand, his gesture sank. Ready to dance. Below, the formation of 8 trigrams began to appear, emitting a green aura. When Obito bit Kiba, he was at a loss when there was a huge wave. Susanoo strikes mercilessly. Neji was stunned for a moment. Now that he is the main body, he did not intend to give a flaw easily, and immediately stopped the attack. Whoosh! Neji quickly backed away, and behind him, 3 people came. Are you okay? Neji, I'll heal you. Thank you, Sakura. Neji breathed a sigh of relief. It was the 7th shift. Sasuke and Naruto are now side by side. It seems that Madara's clone is too powerful, so they have to join forces. Uchiha Madara, who had attacked him, was rubbing his shoulders. You guys are really good. That strange art can trap me for more than 1 minute. If it wasn't for Hashirama's Mokudan wood style sage art to block most of the time for me, that art might be able to control me perfectly 15 minutes. What a horrible trick. Madara had a sinister smile, and his compliments were serious. The strength that he now has the power of both Senju and Uchiha. Obito, hurry up with the Eye of the Moon plan now, you can't delay it any longer. Madara walked to Obito's side. Obito narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, no. Obito. Madara was impatient, but there was nothing she could do. The current Obito is actually a threat to him. So, what do you say? Madara had to hold back for a while after thinking. Obito said, I want them to know despair. Disciple of Konoha Sannin, don't despair. Sakura responded boldly with a hook on the corner of his mouth. Sasuke also followed. The relics of the old times should be returned to the soil. Naruto followed the 2 of them, bit Kiba, and hand sealed the blood on his palm. We are the direct disciples of the former Konoha Sannin. Konoha Sanyu. The art of psychic. Boom, bang, bang. There were 3 huge sounds, and 3 thick smoke that seemed to not disperse appeared impressively, and 3 huge shadows caught everyone's attention. Then, the figures of Green Snake, Toji, and Slug appeared again. This time, the size is even bigger. As soon as it appeared, Toji said, just now, the three of us went to the three holy places of immortals to absorb Sage Art Chakra. Now we have entered a saturated state, and we can maintain our body size in the holy places of immortals here, so it looks bigger than before. Quote. The height of the three psychic beasts was about 40 meters before, but now it stands nearly 70 meters. Each one even surpasses Madara's full body Susanoo. This is the strongest psychic beast in history. The crowd sighed. When Neji saw it, he smiled with relief and said to himself, is it the strongest psychic beast in history? Chapter 524 Senpo, Sage Art. Ready to finish. Now, until that big guy Ten Tails recovers, even Madara's Susanoo can't stop us. Todiyoshi. Naruto clasped his fists, very confident. And Sakura and Sasuke also smiled confidently, and the huge size of the psychic beast below gave them an arrogance they had never had before. Madara, who looked at them from a distance, looked indifferent. Defeating Senju Hashirama, Madara seemed to have no intention of fighting at all. I just want to quickly complete his Moon Eye plan, but Obito next to him, for some reason, is hesitant. I don't know if it was his delusion or not. Obito doesn't seem to be obsessed with the Eye of the Moon plan. He actually wants to drag the world and the Ninja Alliance to continue to consume. I hope it's an illusion. And now, with Madara, the impure world reincarnation, there is no way to become a Ten Tails Jinchuriki column force. Obito with Rinnegan can perform the Rinne Tensai, Samsara of Heavenly Life technique, which is his last straw. At this time, Neji silently took a dozen steps back. He can still clearly distinguish the current situation, and Obito can solve it, but in his current state, if Madara is also six paths, things may be out of control. Either delay the time and let yourself find a way, or prevent Madara from successfully six paths. Now it seems that the latter is a little more feasible. Obito is not persuaded and simply defeated. Even Black Zetsu does not know the seal of the art of Rinne Tensai, Samsara of Heavenly Life, and Madara cannot be resurrected. Now that even he himself can't use the technique of Rinne Tensai, Samsara of Heavenly Life, if he obstructs the possibility of Obito, Madara can't be resurrected no matter what. Would be impossible to become a Ten Tails Jinchuriki column force. Neji breathed a sigh of relief, so it seemed that the last enemy was Obito. After solving him, and sealing Madara again, I can still have a few years to investigate the matter about Kagaya, and I will gradually understand what the ban under Urashima is in my body. The strongest psychic beast. Ridiculous. Madara took a deep breath, glanced helplessly at Obito, who seemed to be planning to keep silent, and said leisurely, well, I'll bring them to spare. Madara then hand seal. Neji startled. That seal, the speed is too fast. Mokuden, wood style, shadow clone technique. Bang, bang. More than a dozen Mokuden, wood style clones jumped away quickly and landed around the Ten Tails surrounded by the ninja coalition, as if to protect the Ten Tails. Is this guy a Mokuden, wood style clone again? No matter how much he is, using Mokuden, wood style, to separate the family, that guy's power will also be dispersed. Even if it is Uchiha Madara, we are many and powerful, and we still have an advantage. Madara's mouth twitched and she sneered, advantages. Then, let's see your advantages. Susanoo. Boom boom boom. I saw more than a dozen avatars, all of them wearing Susanoo, and all of them were complete. This is. Naruto and Sasuke immediately felt bad. And even Sakura noticed the disparity between the two forces immediately. Looks like this guy is trying to hold out until the Ten Tails recover. The enemy seems to have to rely on the Ten Tails for their plans. Madara, on the other hand, ticked the corner of her mouth and quickly hand seal again. Naruto, Sasuke, are you ready? This time, it's a tougher challenge than the last time. Humph. Mokuden, wood style, wood dragon jutsu. Boom. I saw countless tree roots swirl from the ground floor and turned into giant wooden dragons. The wooden dragon slowly curled around Susanoo's body and hovered. Everyone raised their heads, looked at the dozen or so Susanoo, and swallowed. And Madara is not over yet, continue hand seal. Zetsa. I saw that based on the wooden dragon. The wooden dragon's body was once again meandering Mokuden, wood style, rapping slowly. Chimera on Susanoo. Mokuden, wood style, wood golem jutsu. This is Mokuden, wood style, Susanoo. Hashirama. You should be able to see me now. I've surpassed you. Rule the ninja world. Madara's eyes were rounded, and she was a little crazy for a while. Mad, this guy must be a lunatic. Some people in the ninja coalition scolded, and the perceptive ninjas all noticed that Madara was using chakra almost like a lifesaver, but because of the relationship between impure world reincarnation, it was gradually recovering chakra. This time, we haven't seen enough. Toji was silent. At this time, Neji behind him suddenly came over and said, now my sage art chakra is ready. Neji's sage art. Speaking of which, at that time, Naruto blinked and suddenly recalled. By the way, Neji, you really went to Mount Myoboku to practice sage art. So even you. And Gaoji told me, Neji, your psychic beast is Gaojien. Neji, isn't it? Also. Naruto smiled, and every time he felt that Neji came to the rescue, there was hope. And Neji is now an idol-like existence to Naruto. Neji smiled and said, no, it is indeed ready, you can psychic Tojien. But it is obvious that ordinary psychic beasts can't deal with the enemy. So. Neji frowned slightly, with a serious look, and said, I'm going to summon a stronger psychic beast now. No. Maybe it can't be called a psychic beast. The psychic beasts of the three of you are indeed the most powerful beasts in history except for the tailed beasts. One of the strongest psychic beasts, but my psychic beast is already at the level of a fairy beast. Fairy beast. This is the first time I heard that there is such a thing. Everyone was staring at Neji's words, not knowing what Neji was going to summon, and Neji never separated his palms from beginning to end. Neji, your hand. Are you going to enter sage mode? Well, if you are an immortal beast, you won't be able to psychic out in normal state. Besides, after all, you need to psychic 3 at a time. Even me. It's very difficult. 3. Everyone was surprised, even Sasuke looked sideways. Afterwards, a whirlwind blew around Neji's body, and with the help of the wind blade, he cut a gap between Neji's fingers, and immediately went to school, but Neji smeared it on his face. Sage mode appears. Neji Byakugan 1 look, hand seal. Sage mode, psychic. 2 spells, activated at the same time. Boom. The loud noise seemed to overwhelm everything around him. The smoke was also choking. A figure towering into the sky, 100 meters high, even half the size of 10 tails, appeared in front of everyone. Toji realized at the moment that he was only less than half the size of the toad in front of him. At most 1/3. This is. I remember. Toji widened his eyes, suddenly frowned, and looked serious. Which toad is this? Toji. Naruto kept watching carefully, but couldn't recognize it. Todayoshi's tone became serious. I've only heard of this guy, even my dad saw this guy when he was a child. This guy is the guy who guards our Mount Myoboku Bay High Mountain, Iwaju Big Toad. It is said that even Jiraiya worked hard on Mount Myoboku. After practicing for half a year, in the end I was only able to channel this guy's esophagus. I didn't expect that Hyuga Neji. What a terrible guy. And Todayoshi and Naruto were surprised together, and looked at Neji's direction. Both of them were shocked. Chapter 525 Combination. Charcoal grilled 10 tails. That's right, this chakra. Toji frowned, his expression more surprised than seeing the big toad of Iwasu. And this time, even Naruto was left in a cold sweat. Neji, although I recommended you to go to Mount Myoboku, I'm jealous when I see your results. Because that's something I couldn't do. You are a real genius. Even practicing sage art is the same. Neji's speed is fast and achievement is high. It's like Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Shisui later. No, it's more powerful than the two of them. Jiraiya-chan, why are you channeling us in such a noisy place again? Fuck the kid, stay awake, now little Jiraiya-chan has. Suga, I was almost confused, so. Neji, sure enough, it's you. So, what made you summon even us? The chakra around here, is this the ninja war? Neji slowly emerges from the smoke and manifests. Standing on the huge Yansu giant toad, the ground nearby was already dusty, and the ground was collapsed by the Yansu giant toad. Neji, who was standing above, was also able to look up at the place where everyone looked up. On his left and right shoulders, there were actually two toad fairies. Fukusaku Immortals and Shima Immortals. I didn't expect Neji to summon you in addition to lecherous Immortals. Naruto shouted immediately. Immortal Fukusaku saw Naruto. He squinted and smiled. Naruto-chan, it looks like we are going to fight together again. Immortal Zima narrowed his eyes and looked at Uchiha Madara over there, and sneered, this time the enemy looks more difficult than the last time. But since we are all dispatched, don't be afraid. Quickly fight, and I didn't expect that even the big toad of Iwasu will be dispatched this time. Lord, people. The deep voice of the big toad of Yansu, when I heard it, it seemed that it had not spoken for decades, and it scattered all around. It seems that even the sound can make people fall into a fantasy. Iwasu Toad, you're staring at that big guy, that's 10 tails. 10 tails. I didn't expect even 10 tails. Immortal Fukusaku frowned slightly. Obito over there took a few steps back, while Madara narrowed her eyes and murmured, it looks like a few troublesome guys are coming. So, this time, that 10 tails seems to be in some sort of recovery state and seems to be having trouble moving. They were discussing. Madara realized that things couldn't get any worse and went up despite Obito's hesitation there. Can't let them do any more moves. Obito, I'll go up first. Madara frowned slightly. In fact, he had long agreed with Neji in his heart. Before his resurrection, he never imagined that there are men in this world other than Hashirama who can make him become serious. Mokuden, wood style, Shinra Bansho, all creation. Madara arrived at Neji's side in an instant. The roots of the tree circled around, but Immortal Zima only had a hand seal. Boy, you use futon, wind style. Ah, futon, wind style, palm storm. PFF'd. Like a tornado, with the sweetened water style released by Immortal Zima, under the high pressure of sweetened water style, futon, wind style, sublimated into a blizzard, freezing Mokuden, wood style, and Madara together live. Futon, wind style, and sweetened water style, forcibly condensed into Hyoten, ice style. What's going on? Madara frowned slightly. On the other hand, Neji twitched the corner of his mouth and muttered, no, I guessed wrong. The combination of Shu and Dun just now was just to enhance the effect, and now this is my own Hyoten ice style. Hyoten ice style, mystery, smashing ice crystals. Ziz. Boom. The shards of ice were blocked like a block, and then violently pierced out, ice picks one by one, with the dirt of Madara's body remaining on it. Immortal Fukusaku sneered, what about impure world reincarnation's body? If it weren't for this, it would be this guy's blood splashing around now. Neji-chan is stronger than before. I didn't expect that even the boundaries of blood can be like this now. A skilled master. 2. Our enemy is not the guy in front of us, but the guy. Now he has the yin-yang escape of ninja, and the ordinary chakra nature transformation can no longer hurt him, and he must use sage art. Understood. Damn, you say I'm not an enemy. Don't you take me seriously. Madara was very upset, but she couldn't do anything about it, because Hyoten ice style hindered her recovery speed and was forced to watch the battle. Other hand, Obito realized the danger and immediately jumped up, floating in the air. Want to run away? It won't let you do it. Immortal Zima frowned seriously and had already started hand seal. And Obito didn't have time to run. So he immediately reached out his hand and changed the black substance into a state like an eggshell, wrapping himself. Nice job. Shift target now. Madara and Obito were taken aback by Neji's prominence. Neji said, looking down, and said to everyone, I can see these two guys. The most difficult and necessary to deal with now is the big guy who will hurt the ninja coalition, 10 Tails. Since 6 Paths Sage Art will get hurt by Sage Art, let alone 10 Tails. Sage Art will definitely work. Attack 10 Tails with all your strength. Quote. Yoshi. Iwasu Toad. You use Kaden, fire style. Toad Daddy. You use oil. I'll use futon, wind style. Afterwards, Immortal Zima, Immortal Shensaku and the 3 moves of Yansu Big Toad mixed together. Senpo, Sage Art Gomon. I saw that the oil changed the quality of Kaden, fire style, and the wind squat further improved the power of Kaden, fire style. This technique, in theory, it can devour any tangible substance. Even if it is a collection of chakras, 10 Tails will disperse into splits. If it's just this level, it doesn't seem to be necessary. Obito slowly revealed a hole and narrowed his eyes. He is not the body of impure world reincarnation, so he can't use Avatar right now, so he has to be careful with his defenses. But Neji chuckled and said, it's not over. And me. I saw that Neji had already condensed the chakra with the hand seal. In order to avoid the forbidden power in the body, Neji specially used the 3 skills as a pretense to slowly gather the chakra and release it safely. You bastard, has the restraint in your body been lifted? Obito is a little panicked. The black matter can make him almost invincible, but it can't protect the 10 Tails underneath. Neji smiled and said, I have released it slowly enough, and this move is not mainly my chakra, but the guy inside me. Boom. I saw a sinister face jumping out of Neji's chest, a turbid miasma. This is the evil spirit. Remember how I defended your tailed beast bomb, SG. Only this evil spirit can break through the guild's defense. But if the evil spirit Sage Art, even the 10 Tails most wanted attack tailed beast bomb can hit the tailed beast bomb. Smash, and of course beat back the 10 Tails themselves. Boom. Thick black smoke was poured into Gomon, while Immortal Fukasaku and Immortal Shima continued to cast spells intermittently. The serious Toad didn't even need to stop, and released Kaden, fire style, for 1 minute in a row. General motivation. What a powerful Kaden, fire style. And so long-lasting. Female ninjas embarrassed Yuhi and couldn't help but sigh, Master Neji. Too powerful, too powerful. Boom. Gomon with thick smoke is like lava coming down from a volcano, covering 10 Tails. The 10 Tails below roared as if they were grilling the 10 Tails. Chapter 526 Amana. Sword of Heart. Look, everyone, 10 Tails. Defenses have been breached. That Kaden, fire style, is so strong. This is the strongest Kaden, fire style, I've ever seen. Gomon was originally an S-rank Sage Art. Now with Neji-sama's abilities. It's amazing. Ninja allied forces saw the intense flames burning 10 Tails, as if they saw the dawn of victory, and their eyes were full of hope. Has 10 Tails, Husk. Even failed the defense of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Obito looked down in surprise. 10 Tails was too big. Even if he tried to defend himself, it would not help. It can't be prevented at all, and there will always be flaws. Neji is indeed a genius, and when this size can't be defeated, he improves the quality of his attacks and turns 10 Tails into living targets. This way, 10 Tails, size has dragged a lot. Squeak. With a loud bang, I saw that under the intense flame burning, the incomplete divine tree collapsed unexpectedly. Hoo-hoo. The ninja allied forces, supported by Naruto's Kyuubi, 9 Tails chakra, quickly fled. Oops. The range is too big. The huge sacred tree fell, and the previous Madara's Tengai Shinsei, heavenly obstacle quaking star, was staged again, and the ninjas who were difficult to escape had even entered despair. Immortals fight, mortals get hurt. Amount. At this moment, Gaara appeared in the air. He stepped on the floating sand on the soles of his feet and clenched the Kiba pass, looking very labored. I saw countless chakras slowly emerging from the ground, and then formed huge arms and obstacles, blocking the divine tree that was about to fall to the ground. Run! I can't last long. This divine tree will absorb my chakra. Gaara was biting on Kiba, and she didn't expect that even the parts touched by her own sand were constantly absorbing her own chakra. Great! Kurama, do you still have chakra? A little more for the Ninja Alliance. Naruto said excitedly, while Kyuubi, Ninetales, complained, it's still divided into your head. If you want to continue to have combat power, just wait for this old man and I to gather chakra, otherwise there is no way to support you to continue Kyuubi, Ninetales, in fairy state. Quote. This flame is more destructive than Amaterasu. Sasuke used Sharingan to carefully observe the flames burning on the sacred tree, and his emotions towards Neji are no longer simple jealousy and want to surpass. It's a feeling of wanting to know. Neji becomes so strong, Sasuke can't even understand it. The weak can't understand the world of the strong. If you can't understand this person, how can you surpass him? Boom. The ice cubes melted gradually, and the Hyoten ice style that blocked Uchiha Madara gradually dissipated under the residual heat of the flames. This guy, what can he do? He can join Sage Art in the bloodline boundary. Without Hashirama's power, I would be blocked again. Hashirama, your power and mine are perfect together. Quote. At this time, I saw that Obito was in the hand seal, but was interrupted by Neji's palm. Iori air strike. Bang. This time, it even penetrated the body of Ten Tails. Ow. A sharp growl, startling. Neji's mouth twitched, and he said with a smile, oh. It seems that this guy really has some kind of defensive ability. Now the evil spirit has destroyed that defense, so even ordinary moves can damage Ten Tails. Obito bit Kiba and gnashed his teeth, looking dissatisfied with Neji. Where did your will to protect the world come from? You are different from Naruto, Hyuga Neji, in the end you. Obito couldn't understand why Hyuga Neji appeared in the Hyuga clan. Don't care about the grievances of main clan. As a former family, my father was also used. Why would I choose to protect the ninja world that hurt him without life? Obito just wants a most real and reasonable answer. Forget it, Obito. It's an incomplete Ten Tails Jinchuriki column force anyway. No. Obito frowned slightly, as if he didn't want to hear what Madara had to say. He crouched down and put his hands on Ten Tails' body. I saw that Ten Tails slowly absorbed the divine tree into his body, and Ten Tails himself, all the chakras, also slowly poured into Obito's body. There, Sasuke, who was not far away, frowned slightly and said, this guy is absorbing Ten Tails and the divine tree. Whoa, whoa, whoa. A steady stream of power poured into Obito's body, and his consciousness gradually became blurred. I will end your hopes completely. Hyuga, Neji. And Obito absorbed all of the Ten Tails. Fall to the ground. Bang. Susanoo's attack split open, and the big toad of Iwasu remained motionless, with a thick layer of golden defense, which neutralized all Madara's attacks. There are a total of more than a dozen blades, each of which is completely defended. Ino, I'm Neji, tell the Ninja Alliance to hide behind the big toad of Yansu. The big toad of Yansu is a psychic beast used for defense. Got it. Neji was in a hurry and informed Ino using the secret technique of the Yamanaka family, and then jumped away, heading towards Obito, who had already landed. Wait, Neji. Naruto was about to chase, but Madara blocked her way. Although I'm a little impatient, until Obito and Hyuga Neji decide the winner, it seems that I can only have fun with you guys. Madara's mouth twitched, and she raised the Uchiha fan in her hand with a proud expression. Naruto looked serious and said, Sakura, this place is not suitable for you now, you go to the back. Sakura wanted to help. She knew that when she was not self-willed, supporting as a medical ninja was the most suitable choice, so she stepped back. Sasuke murmured, 2-1. Don't be careless, Naruto. At this time, Naruto realized that Immortal Zima and Immortal Shenzuo were standing on both sides on his shoulders. You. Immortal Fukasaku said, "We can't take part in the Neji-chan battle. The action is too fast, and it's easy to kill people. My son, we are not human. The toad's life is lost. Don't worry about him, whatever." Absorbing the obito of chakra, the consciousness is cloudy again. This time, it is more serious than before. But it slowly adapted to this state, at least fully controlling the power, and the black matter around the body transformed into an attacking form with consciousness. Neji has come quickly, and the Thor's sword in his hand has been unsheathed and slashed away. Broadsword. A knife slashed horizontally, but was blocked by black matter. I saw that the black matter immediately condensed together and burst into a powerful force. Bang! Neji's whole body was blown apart, and even the blade of Thor's sword could no longer hold, and the power gradually dissipated. Afterwards, Neji had no choice but to take back the hilt of Thor's sword. Although it was the saber of the second-generation Hokage, it was a weapon that used this moment to attack and attack. It was really difficult to deal with Six Paths Obito, who has the yin and yang escape. I saw Obito proudly looking at Neji, who was repelled by him, and stretched out his hands. The black matter collided and extended, slowly changing into a terrifying appearance. Both sides are held in Obito's hands. One side is like a DNA chain, and the other side is like a huge shield. Obito was indifferent and murmured, "This is the Six Paths Immortal's divine sword, the Tianju spear. You can't defeat me anymore. Give it up. Soon, you can go to the dream world." Neji in front of him frowned slightly and couldn't help spitting out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 527 Hesitant to fail. Obito was also taken aback, a little surprised. Although Neji failed in the fight just now and was repelled, Obito's vague consciousness still made a clear judgment. The move just now was definitely not enough to hurt Neji to the extent that he vomited blood. Then there is only one explanation, that is, the restraining force in Neji's body has appeared again. This is a great opportunity. Neji let out a breath and the sage mode dissipated. He couldn't help but murmured, "It seems that the amount of art is not the problem, but the speed is the key. Every time you use a large amount of chakra, you will be affected by the power of prohibition." Neji is now at the semi-holy level. Because of the restraining power of Pushi, Neji can only exert the strength of the Six Paths level. Besides, he needs to divide his strength to take care of the ninja coalition, and he must fight stably. There is no way. Quick fight. Neji's current strength is at most about the strength of Six Paths, and the Six Paths Obito facing him has absorbed all the tailed beast chakra at this moment, and his strength is close to the previous Six Paths Immortal. Neji's victory or defeat, unknown. It seems that the power in your body still exists. Did you sell your soul to the devil? While acquiring the mysterious power of the gods, is your body also cursed? A guy from the same genre as Orochimaru. What? Obito narrowed his eyes and spoke more fluidly. Neji's mouth twitched and he snorted coldly. But he ignored Obito and only sneered. "It seems that you are better than before this time, so you have regained your consciousness. The coward has grown up and is no longer the Ten-Tails person Jinchuriki, the guy who became clumsy due to the pressure of the column force." Neji's mouth opened in a cold arc, and the blood was dried by the cool wind. Obito frowned slightly and hummed softly, "What a tough guy. Do you know this sword in my hand? This is the divine sword, the relic of the Six Paths Immortals who created the world with this sword." Obito looked at Neji, and at this moment, there was some desire to win or lose. It is no longer the same as before, full of despair towards the world, but a glimmer of hope. Hope Neji can give him some freshness. Because now in this battlefield, only Neji can give him unexpected actions. Six Paths Fairy, creation, ridiculous. Neji's mouth twitched, dismissing Obito. What? Obito was sullen, but wanted to chat with Neji very much. Why do stubborn people ask why? You just have to keep living in your own world. Neji reached out and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He was dressed in light clothes, the sword on his back was still unsheathed, and there were several marks left by the battle on his body. But this attitude made Obito extremely curious. Just in the face of Neji, a cold person, Obito could only hold back, and gradually turned into anger, the anger that Neji wanted to kill. Anyway, the world is going to be destroyed. There is really no need to confirm some meaningless things. I will take you first. Obito bites Kiba and waves. The Amana spear waved, and the air around it began to tear. Neji was startled, and rolled his eyes. The huge amount of chakra exists in the swamp spear of the day. Although it does not look threatening, once it is used, the lethality will be determined according to the user's mind. Obito is able to defeat the 10 tails. He becomes a human Jinchuriki column force. Then the willpower must be very human, and it is perfect for this weapon. Don't struggle, I can't use Mangekyo's ability now, but Sharingan can still see that your chakra is running out. Obito looked indifferent, thinking he was already winning. And his indifference is forcibly suppressing him, but his strong will is not willing to admit it, and he is already curious about Neji's next move. Because of Neji's indifferent and confident expression, anyone would think that he still has infinite trump cards on his body. Neji breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. I don't have much chakra left. No, that's me deliberately limiting my chakra. What did you say? Obito couldn't understand. Neji explained, because I have already thought of a way to deal with you, I don't need my own chakra at all. Neji doesn't dare to use his chakra easily now. The forbidden power in his body can't help but absorb his own chakra, and it will also convert the consumption of chakra into damage to himself, which is really worth the loss. But things that have not been used for so long, finally come in handy at this moment. 1 tail, Shukaku chakra. 2 tails, Cat's chakra. 3 tails, Asata chakra. 4 tails, Sun Wukong chakra. 5 tails, Mu Wang chakra. 6 tails, Rhino chakra. 7 tails, Changming chakra. 8 tails, Bulgos chakra. QB 9 tails, Kurama chakra. Neji chuckled, the tailed beast chakra in his body overflowed. A simple tailed beast chakra without a tailed beast entity. You are indeed a sinister guy who only steals the abilities of others. Obito frowned slightly, but still held his chest proudly. In this battle, he is very confident. This sword is the sword of will. I have strong enough will to defeat the will of 10 tails. You can never win against me. 10 tails is a collection of all the tailed beasts' chakra, and only a small part of the tailed beasts are chakras. How do carrots fight me who have all the 10 tails chakras? Quote. But Neji had already shot, and smiled. Why don't you give it a try? Humph. Naive kid. After all, I should be a ninja from your teacher's generation. Really, that's a shame. You didn't end up being Hokage. Huh. Otherwise, whether it's my class teacher Might Guy, the deceased Sarutobi Asuma, or your best friend Hatake Kakashi, they should all follow your example, right? Neji said. A palm came, and Obito slashed. Although decisive, but at this moment, what appeared in his eyes was not a battle. It's all fragments of the past, and their smiles. Obito was shocked. Impossible. This. I saw the unforgettable picture in his eyes. In that dream, I became Hokage's dream. Moonlight Hayate, Ebisu, Shiranui Genma, Uchiharaden, Kurenai Yuhi, Mitarashi Anko, Morino Ibiki, Might Guy, Sarutobi Asuma, Hatake Kakashi, Nohara Rin, and Uchiha Obito. They are the same generation of the previous generation of Konoha 12 strong. Damn. Kakashi fell to the ground, and for some reason, his eyes suddenly caught the scene that Obito saw. However, it is not so cruel. Rather, full of memories and emotions. Kakashi-sensei. Ino helped Kakashi beside him, and Kakashi waved his hand. It's okay, I can do it myself. Then, he calmed down and asked deeply in his heart, Obito, what are you thinking about? What do you want to confirm with Neji? At this moment, Obito realized himself and hesitated. Lost. Whoa. Boom. The Skymarsh spear is broken. In the end, behind Obito, is the chakra of the nine-tailed beast, part of which was dragged out by Neji. Impossible. Why? It's impossible to defeat my will with just a few words, it's impossible. Obito couldn't believe it. Neji, on the other hand, licked the corner of his mouth and devoured all the chakra he was dragging. Of course language alone is not enough, and this. Then, he took out a bead from his clothes. The beads were crystal clear and turbid. Chapter 528 Mo. Doomsday. This is. Obito could clearly feel his will being shaken. It should have been invincible to take this position, but at this moment, it seems so worried. Are you going to lose? Why does this person in front of him always have that confident expression? Obito now finally understands the answer to this question. Because he is really strong. And all-round strong. It's the soul orb. Neji said indifferently, letting out a slow sigh of relief. After the battle just now, he plundered a part of the tailed beast's power from Obito's body with just one knife, although Neji would be affected by the restraining power in his body when he used his chakra to fight, making it difficult to use it. But now he is using the tailed beast chakra, although it is not as good as the tailed beast chakra inside Obito, who is a 10 tails Jinchuriki column force. Soul Destroyer Orb. Isn't that a legendary god? How could it be in your hands? Obito narrowed his eyes in disbelief. Originally, only he was aware of the force in Neji's body that was blocking his way forward. Although Obito didn't know the cause, it would indeed increase the success rate of his plan. But I didn't expect. There seems to be another power in Neji's body. You don't have to doubt it. Now I can influence your will through this soul destruction orb, and at the same time I can perceive your thoughts. It has the ability to read minds. It wasn't Neji's initiative, but the origin of the tailed beast chakra in his body. The tailed beast's body was all in Obito's body, so he was almost forced to learn what Obito was thinking in his subconscious. And, therefore, learn the fantasies that have been in your head all the time. Fantasy. Obito tilted his head in confusion. He snorted and said, "These are my realities, no illusions. In this hell of a human world, my world has no future. Do you call this a fantasy? Ridiculous." As Obito spoke, he stretched out his hand, and the black matter around him gathered again. Ziz. This time, the black matter changed again, and the former Tianju spear appeared again, and it became larger and thicker. If you lift it up, it should go straight to the sky. Is your consciousness so strong? Neji asked indifferently. Obito snorted coldly. Ah, yes, my world has long been dark. I'm different from Kakashi. Although I have the same Sharingan, my eyes are full of disappointment in this world. Then, are the scenes in your mind all real? Neji said, taking a deep breath. His eyes were a little moved and blurred. Obito took a cautious step back. For some reason, he felt that there was some understanding in Neji's eyes. Not only does Neji understand him, he feels that he understands Neji too, with those lost and confused eyes. You think my eyes look familiar, don't you? Neji blinked and returned to his original form. Obito was stunned, a little embarrassed. Neji explained indifferently, because I already told you that now I have the ability to read minds. I can see the subconscious images in your mind. You have been fantasizing about sticking to the Hokage of the past. Dream, can I be as good as me in Konoha village too? No. Quote. In your eyes, the me you see looks a lot like Kakashi back then, doesn't it? Neji exhaled, stepping out of Obito's memory. Just now, he used his spiritual realm to experience Obito's life memories of the past decades in just a few seconds. Those painful clips also made Neji's heart a little calmer, but now Neji has always been more determined, which is the strength of a half-sage. Although the chakra power in the body cannot be used easily, the strength proved by the system is beyond the chakra system. Unlimited power. Obito was floating in the air, and there was a violent shaking. Boom. It was Madara who was fighting Naruto and the others. Although the opponent had an advantage in numbers, it was obvious that Obito, who had 10 tails, should be the victor of the battle. I can't understand, you guys are clearly losing, why are you still fighting? You should know that the chakra in your body can't be used easily, You have already said the answer yourself, because all your Sharingan sees is darkness. So you can't see me as the light. Neji chuckled, Obito startled. This guy laughs. It's rare to see this guy's smile. Neji smiled confidently, leaning forward, a blazing yellow light behind him. What is this? Obito asked. Neji smiled and said, as a ninja, you can't be bound by chakra or something. The power of chakra does not belong to the ninja. The ninja system you hate was brought to this world by outsiders. This world has its origin. Power, no matter how strong the restriction is, it cannot be suppressed. Neji mobilized the divine power in his body and listened to the prompts of the system in his ears. The divine power is fully charged. Okay, the body's senses are good. Neji felt the comfort brought by the consciousness of the Godhead and the body of the Vulcan. This was the same as when he practiced chakra at the ninja school in the past. For the first time, he felt the feeling of chakra flowing through his body and controlling all power. Only this time, Neji turned into a god. Ding! The sword that was carried upright behind him, before it was sheathed, was already emitting a golden wheel-like light. Don't try to succeed. Obito bit Kiba and waved the Amazuma spear in his hand. Boom! The huge Amazuma spear slashed horizontally towards Neji, and Neji didn't move at all and stretched out his left hand. The left palm, a black and obvious handwriting, the word, mirror, appeared. This is when the huge impact of the Amana spear hit an invisible transparent wall and was strictly guarded. And Obito bit Kiba and roared, this is the sword of creation of the six paths immortal. The chakra contained in it is a higher power based on the escape of yin and yang. Even sage art can't defend against it. You give up. Hyuga Neji, your way is hopeless. Boom boom boom. The air has been shaken tremendously, and the powerful power inside the Tianju spear has reached this level without leaking out. However, after a while, it stopped. The defense is still intact, and Neji is in the hand seal. Why didn't I defeat you? My will has already reached its strongest state. It's impossible. Obito swallowed, panicking already. It's just that Neji in front of him still looks indifferent, trying his best to hand seal seems to be preparing something. This seal has never been seen before. Obito held his breath, trying to calm himself down. And Neji chuckled and said, of course, what you are using is the power of the Six Paths Fairy, and you are far less than the Six Paths Fairy. But what I use is more than sage art. This is the power of God, and the artifact the power. The light behind Neji shone brighter and his hands clasped together. Unlike Jiraiya, it won't be as simple as sage mode after my seal is over. The Shikarita sword behind me, and the Ten-Fist sword, do you know what happened last time when I was unsheathed? What? The end, is the end of the gods. This sword has the power to kill. Chapter 529 Artifact. Beyond the power of the Six Paths Fairy. When? Bang bang. In the distance, there was a loud noise. Smoke billows. Sasuke, you from the left. Ah, I know. Yandun Gaju Earth Life. With the sound of boom, black flames hit, Madara looked into the distance in a daze, and was shocked. He dodged quickly, then jumped. Rasengan. Boom. The force hit the roots of the tree, causing a violent explosion, and the surroundings were in a mess. In the piece here, there are already countless wooden vines on the body of the big toad of Yansu. Standing on the ordinary second-generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, he slashed with a knife, but those tree roots were like living things. Countless Mokuden wood style also blocked the movement of Iwajuku toad. Damn it, it's like a big brother like this. Madara, what the hell did he do to his body? At this time, the deep voice of Yansu Big Toad came from below. It doesn't matter. Lord Neji's order is for me to protect everyone. Everyone fights. I have used the chi to protect all your vital organs. Now even if I act, I can only fight by my size, and I may injure my allies if I'm not careful. Surrounded by ninjas from the Ninja Alliance, the size of the Big Toad of Iwasu is close to half a 10 tails. That guy, too strong. This is Uchiha Madara. Naruto bit Kiba, temporarily disarming Sage Mode. Sasuke on the side said indifferently, Naruto. That guy has Rinnegan, only Sage Art is effective for him. You must maintain Sage Mode. I know, I'm dying of chattering. Sasuke, don't I have to rest? Sure enough, you're only going to be dragging your feet. Noisy. Tobirama. Then, he noticed that Madara seemed to have no intention of fighting, and looked into the distance. Madara at the moment, ignoring Naruto and Sasuke's preparations to attack her, stood proudly on top of her Susanoo and looked at Obito's battle. There can be no mistake, that chakra, and that shape. It is indeed the Tianju spear. The kid back then has really grown up. But Madara looked at Neji, who was on a par with Obito, and wondered, as the defense that guy just used an 8-foot mirror. It's really interesting. Besides, the sword behind it feels very bad. Madara sighed heavily, but shook her head helplessly. Forget it, it doesn't matter. If Hyuga Neji can help me weaken Obito's power, it will be a good thing. The last Moon Eye plan, Infinite Tsukuyomi, should be initiated by me. I will bring the world to peace. Quote. Madara rounded Rinnegan and unfolded the absorption barrier. So fast. Is it the 4th generation? Or? A handful of kunai flew, and the blue figure was immortal. Successful. Boom. Tobirama couldn't match Madara's shot speed. A black stick transformed by Madara stuck in his head, knocking Tobirama to the ground. Then, a few more black sticks blocked Tobirama. This way, you won't be able to jump around. You who don't know how to use Sage Art, and your speed is not as fast as the 4th generation, it seems that you have already exhausted your skills. Tobirama. Madara smiled coldly, her eyes full of insidious intent. Tobirama bit Kiba, turned his head coldly, and sucked a needle out of his mouth. PFF'd. Extremely fast and very close. Jingle. Few needles were sighed. Madara slowly put down the Uchiha fan used for defense. Although this Uchiha fan is not as good as an 8-foot mirror, its defensive power is also very few. As far as your 3-legged cat is concerned, don't show it. Your attack is not as tough as those 2 young juniors. Tobirama. No, 2nd generation Hokage. Madara was dismissive of Tobirama. But Tobirama bit Kiba and said, Madara, the grudge between you and I is a thing of the past. Don't continue to bring chaos to future generations. These younger generations have their own era. Madara was stunned when she heard it. After being stunned for a few seconds, he burst into a wry smile. Haha, ridiculous. Speaking of which, I almost forgot. Tobirama, it was you. Who killed Izuna? Madara walked over and looked down at Tobirama, who was unable to move, furious. Ding. Not far away, golden light shines. Karen and Suzuki were running fast behind them. Quick, Neji needs support. Karen was then stopped by Orochimaru. What are you doing? Just don't worry, Karen. Why? Karen took a few breaths. She managed to deal with all the wounded for the ninja coalition, and waited until Tsunade and Haruno Sakura recovered Baihao's chakra, then went to find Orochimaru and Suzuki, eager to help Neji. But now that Neji is fighting the so-called Ten Tails Jinchuriki column, it's not at a level that they can easily solve, and the more this is the case, the more worried Karen is. Karen, you sense Neji's chakra. Orochimaru said. Karen closed his eyes. Although Neji's battlefield was only 200 meters away from them, it could be seen with the naked eye from a high altitude, but it was not an easy thing to perceive such a large number of chakras in a battlefield of tens of thousands of people. Only Karen can do this kind of thing. Neji's chakra. Gone. Karen raised his head in disbelief. The one who was clearly fighting in the air was Neji. Orochimaru's mouth curled into a smile. Why are you still laughing? What happened? Shueyu asked silently beside him. Orochimaru explained. Absolutely right. That kid has mastered a power that I couldn't even investigate. It's the power behind Raichi Cave. Behind Raichi Cave. That's right. Although Kabuto practiced sage art in Raichi Cave, his power is also limited. So the White Snake Immortal did not tell him the truth of Raichi Cave, the truth of the three holy places of immortals, all of which led to the power of the gods. Including the Pure Land, it has nothing to do with the power of the Ten Tails in this battle, it is the original power of this world. Damn, don't explain slowly, Neji. Karen was impatient. First, he wanted to see Neji's handsome face, and second, at this moment, he was even more worried about Neji's safety. Karen, don't worry. Now Neji, I don't need you anymore. No need, what do you mean? Looking at Orochimaru's calm smile, Karen and Suzuki put down their snacks, but they were still full of doubts. Like Raichi Cave itself is a mystery to them, and Orochimaru actually said that Neji Master has a power that even his investigation can't match. The power that was used to defend against Obito's attack just now, at first I thought it was the so-called Gangchi. But Iwajuku Toad has been sent by Neji to the frontal battle to protect everyone, so he probably doesn't have this kind of power. Absolutely right. This feeling, it was an 8-foot mirror just now. 8-foot mirror. Yes, the 8-foot mirror, one of the 3 major artifacts. When Sasuke was fighting Itachi before, I also experienced the power of the 8-foot mirror. That guy Neji is not a fuel-efficient lamp, it is estimated that he obtained it through some means. The 8-foot mirror. If that's the case, then the 10-fist sword and the other 2-3 sacred weapons of the 8-foot Changtomo should also be in his hands. Orochimaru smiled knowingly. So what? Karen growled stupidly. But Orochimaru smiled evilly. How? The Neji now has the power beyond the 6 paths immortal, the power of God. Chapter 530 Spirits. Man of Destiny. Ha, I didn't expect that child to be so strong. Orochimaru showed a gratified smile. Back then, he took a fancy to Sasuke and accidentally noticed Neji while he was having fun in the Forest of Death. It's just that the Hyuga family has always made Orochimaru feel taboo, so they lost interest in Neji, but one was targeted by Neji in secret. It's just that Orochimaru at that time didn't notice Neji's specialness. Orochimaru only thought that Byakugan contained a power he did not know. Until today, Orochimaru has fully understood it. Not that Byakugan of the Hyuga clan is strong, but Neji is strong. Even if people like Neji live in the Uchiha clan and the Uzumaki clan, they may become such great ninjas, which does not seem to have much to do with birth. Neji relied on his own strength to quell the main clan division of the Hyuga family that lasted for nearly 1,000 years. Maybe as a member of the Uchiha family, he could also avoid the civil strife and coup at that time, and he could also avoid the entire family being killed in the future. If it was the Uzumaki clan, they would be able to avoid the entire country of the vortex from being wiped out, right? Orochimaru originally believed that Neji had such conditions, but now it seems that he has firmly believed that Neji must be the chosen person, the destined savior. Even what I can't get, can't do. Hyuga Neji, this kid at 18 is better than any 18-year-old I've ever seen. In terms of talent, this kid is better than Itachi and Shisui is stronger. Seriously, this is the first time I've heard Orochimaru praise people so harshly. Shueyu held her chin aside and listened carefully. His expression was also a little depressed, not only because he was jealous of Neji's talent, but also because Orochimaru had never praised himself so much. Shueyu, don't complain. As a ghost lantern, your body is also very good. Like Karen, both of your bodies have been favored by me. Orochimaru looked at Karen again. Karen's face turned Yuhi, and he murmured, HMPH, Orochimaru, UBT. What nonsense are you talking about? His body belongs to Brother Neji. But Orochimaru's words changed. Not only is it different from you, even Sasuke's body, which I have always coveted, is not as good as Hyuga Neji's place in my heart. Because Neji is not only physical strength, but also his mental strength is the best I have ever seen in my life. A ninja with a tenacious spirit, he will definitely become one of the strongest beings in this ninja world. As time goes on, this guy will get stronger and stronger. I have now regained the things I almost despaired of. It can be done. Maybe it can be done. What can be done? That guy, if it's him, can do it. My long-cherished wish is to thoroughly study all the chakras in this world, all the ninjutsu in the master world. And power. That Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Madara are far worse than Neji. I'm different from their stray thoughts of wanting world peace. What I want is the pure truth of ninjutsu. If it's Neji, I'll definitely be able to do this. Orochimaru stared straight at it, and Neji's back was glowing with an extremely bright golden light. Shueyu narrowed her eyes and said leisurely, Hey, it's like you taught me. Neji has never learned anything from you. Even if Neji can research something, it has nothing to do with you. Well, I feel it, the Ten-Fist Sword. The rumored Ten-Fist Sword, the sword I want the most. It's really on Neji's body, and it's also fused with the Shikaruta sword. Could it be? Between the gods I was able to do the sword of killing gods back then. Godslayer. Yes, this is recorded in the ancient books that I have read over the years. When Susanoo, the god of wine, merged the Shikaruta sword and the Tenken sword into one, all the gods turned against each other. God, is there really such a thing? Shueyu expressed doubts. Orochimaru suddenly became serious. Of course. The 10 tales that appear now, and the power of the 6 paths immortals shown by Uchiha Obito, were also recorded in ancient books. Including the Uzumaki clan's secret magic ghoul Fengshuan used Reaper. I have seen it with my own eyes. I read many records at that time, and the Uzumaki family wanted psychic gods back then. Reaper was just one of the gods they'd used. Also, Neji seems to know something about the Uzumaki family's extermination back then, and... Wait, as you say, Karen's scalp suddenly went numb. Karen and Shueyu looked at each other, and at that time, they were indeed going to the old site of the Uzumaki clan with Neji. Now listening to Orochimaru say this, they can't help but feel a little horrified. In the ninja world, where there are few secrets, the legend of gods and 6 paths immortals is almost the only unimaginable legend. 6 paths immortal, as a symbol of light, is the savior who created the ninja world. Death god, in the corpse that has already appeared, and the evil god lord, that Hidan believes in, who has not yet appeared but clearly exists. It is said that Hidan's undead ability is bestowed by the evil god. Therefore, gods generally give the impression of ghosts, that is, devils, from hell. Karen and Shueyu were both scared. In their understanding, they went to the underworld with Neji and met a bunch of ghosts, without Akatsuki. Only then did they understand that the rows of masks, like the shrines beneath Uchiha, turned out to be hiding such an incredible secret. Now, I finally understand. Hyuga Neji, the man of destiny that the White Snake Immortal said. Karen and Shueyu were stunned by what Orochimaru said. It was the first time they heard Orochimaru talk about the White Snake Fairy, in the most mysterious holy place, Ryachi Cave. Because Orochimaru went to Ryachi Cave to visit the White Snake Immortal, but because Orochimaru has been reincarnated several times, his vitality has reached the peak, but his soul is fragile. Why Uchiha Itachi's demonic illusion is Tenka's advantage over Orochimaru, and all mental attacks have miraculous effects on Orochimaru. But also because of this, the soul was damaged, and the White Snake Immortal told Orochimaru that he did not have the qualifications and conditions to practice sage art, which also made Orochimaru not want to mention that place again. For all the subordinates who know Orochimaru well, they actually understand what Orochimaru is planning. That is to take away the powerful bodies of the Uchiha clan, use all their strength to mend their own souls, and then go to practice the sage art of Raichi Cave. I just don't want this matter, but not completed by Yakushi Kabuto. Perhaps because of this, Orochimaru has been able to see a little bit, and even Kabuto, who has Raichi Cave sage art, is vulnerable in front of Neji. This made Orochimaru have a firmer goal, that is, the absolute power hidden in Neji's body stronger than the energy of sage art. At this time, on the other side, the sword behind Neji was shining brightly, and Obito was wielding the Amanuma spear in his hand, which was once again brought together. It seems, it was your demonic illusion that shook my will. All the scenes in my mind were your demonic illusion. Ha ha, but what a pity. Obito's eyes widened. This time, the size of the Tianju spear was twice the original size. What a pity. As long as my will is strong enough, even after I fail, my strength can be restored. Chapter 531 Moment. Ghost Cut. Demonic Illusion. Neji sneered meaningfully, then lowered his head slightly. His smile was especially beautiful and charming in the golden light around him. Forget it, I'm not going to preach to people like you. No matter how good you were in the past, this world will always give you a chance to be kind. Maybe you have experienced some kind of darkness, but as long as you live, you will endure more or less. Or a little darkness, defeated by this darkness and become a sinner through the ages. In this way, you and I can wait for your soul to redeem itself and live to purify, but if you want me to forgive you for what you have done, I can never do it. After Neji said that, he opened his eyes leisurely. I will kill you, absolutely. Neji's words startled Obito. It was the first time he felt that Neji had such a strong desire, and it was different from the previous battles with no desire and no desire. This time Neji seems to have come with such a goal. It's like if this goal can't be achieved, then there is no point in what Neji does. No matter what you say now, I won't regret it. Even the demonic illusion you cast in my mind means nothing to the strong-willed me. Look, this huge Amazuma spear speaks for itself. This is the strong power in my heart, the shape it has transformed into. You have no chance of winning. Quote. Obito narrowed his eyes, knowing what time Neji was waiting for, the odd sword behind him. It's just that Obito also integrates and adapts his power, so he is not in a hurry to fight with Neji. It is better to deliberately make Neji think that he has seized the opportunity, but in fact Obito is also waiting for the opportunity. Hee. Neji suddenly lowered his head and sneered. Should I tell you? I used the soul orb on you. This soul orb is the core of Mount Myoboku's fairy beast Spider Queen, something that was obtained after thousands of years of cultivation in Mount Myoboku to absorb the energy of sage art. Has the ability to capture people's hearts and see people's consciousness. I can clearly understand the consciousness in your mind now. Neji said, his eyes fixed on Obito. Obito showed disdain in his eyes. Of course, he would be upset if his thoughts could be seen through. But Obito's willpower is beyond humans' reach, he said stubbornly, so what? After 6 paths, my battles do not need to be guided by consciousness. I just need basic conditioned reflexes, and I can defeat them. I don't need to think at all, and even if you could read my mind, you would have absolutely no way of judging how I would act. Obito's consciousness is only used for selection. This level of battle itself is not a simple insight into other people's minds that can affect the level of the battle situation. Neji shook his head, denying, no, you guessed wrong. I read your heart, not for fighting. Sure enough, demonic illusion. Obito still held on to a wall in his heart. Neji said, you think I'm waiting for the moment to win you, and you yourself are waiting for the moment to get used to the 10 tails chakra in you. I see all these inner activities. In addition, where your subconscious is, that guy named Nohara Rin. Neji said this and stopped deliberately. Obito bit Kiba and growled, you kid, don't try to deceive me with the demonic illusion dream. Boom. Obito excitedly waved the Amazawa spear in his palm, turning into a dull blade in the air, but the impact force was like a hammer. Ziz. Revolving heaven. Sage art revolving heaven. Even this defense is useless. Boom. The Amana spear hit the huge revolving heaven created by Neji, and the revolving heaven actually cracked open. As long as we live in this hopeless ninja world, we will be cursed. The ninja world created by this Six Paths Immortal is a failure. You guys didn't follow the Immortal's last wish, and I will Obito Six Paths the Immortal fulfilled his last wish to guide the world in the right direction. Obito bit Kiba and swung the Amazuma spear vigorously in his hand. Then, if your willpower is strong enough, why does it take so much effort to even wield a weapon? If your willpower is truly enough to overthrow the ninja world, wouldn't it be difficult to master even a single weapon? Neji's question made Obito startled. After thinking for a moment, he grabbed the hilt of the sword with both hands and continued to attack. Humph, kid. And Neji is reaching out to reinforce revolving heaven. The golden light lingers over revolving heaven. Neji asked again. The core of that Amazuma spear is obviously its chakra compression mode based on yin-yang escape. You don't know swordsman, right? A swordsman's swordsmanship only needs to be achieved through speed and skill. Range enhancement or lethality enhancement is not at all close to the so-called weapon laughter. Even, the incompetence of the weapon will completely reduce the ability of the swordsman. Quote. Speaking of which, Obito was startled, and seemed to understand something. And Neji bowed his head. The sword behind him was even more dazzling. Not yet unsheathed, it has reached such a level. Neji continued, it is very clear that the Amanuma spear is not in a complete state. It is not because your consciousness is strong enough that the Amanuma spear is getting bigger and bigger, but because your willpower is getting more and more shaken, causing Amanuma the shape of the spear simply cannot be compressed to the point where it is convenient to use. That is to say. Neji stared straight at Obito and said, your willpower is not tenacious, it's just your wishful thinking. Besides, you are even weaker now than before. Neji growled and pressed forward. Revolving heaven dissipates, golden light flashes like reincarnation. Of Obito's attacks back, floating in the air and retreating a dozen meters. Hearing what Neji said, it was so reasonable, but he was unwilling to believe and admit it. Obito froze in place, stretched out his hand, and looked at his own hands. The Amazawa spear floated in the air like this, as if it had been left behind by its master, and was mourning alone in the night sky. Huh! Obito snorted coldly, and Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, flew towards Neji. Neji jumped back, and finally let go of the palms that clasped together from time to time, and moved his hands. Hoo-hoo! Those Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, scattered, out of Obito's control. Obito narrowed his eyes and said, that's our Akatsuki member, Sasori's puppet technique, you guy. Obito was a little upset. Neji laughed, this is Sasori's power, I borrowed it. Obito said angrily, you guy, you're just a kid. You've been using other people's ninjas, you're just a thief. The gentle fist of the Hyuga family is also handed down by your ancestors. Do you have any moves yourself? Don't be in a hurry. Neji responded immediately. It'll be all right, right now. Right now. Yeah, next is my own move. Look, it's only for a moment. Neji chuckled, and the golden light behind him finally bloomed. The whole night sky, shine for it. What is that? Obito was even forced back by the light, and stretched out his hand to block it. That light could even penetrate Rinnegan, and the line of sight couldn't penetrate the enigmatic light at all. Neji said, there are tens of thousands of ghosts hidden in my sword, and the wine-cut sword is supposed to suppress thousands of evil spirits. That's why this name is. Afterwards, Neji stretched out both hands and held the blade standing on his back together. Ghost Slash. Chapter 532 World. Source Power. Profound Truth. Ghost Slash. Huh. Cut with a knife. Neji drew his sword, he leaned forward. This pose. Obito now finally understands what the weird knife poses behind Neji's back is. Neji's posture is the same as Gentle Fist, sh trigrams 64 palms, but in the swordsman's attack, there is absolutely no extra movement like Taiju. Often the most deadly attack, only in an instant. PFF'd. Neji gets down and leans forward. Holding the hilt with both hands, the moment it is pulled out, it cuts forward. Combined with the body leaning forward, it was originally the Gentle Fist posture, the body technique was activated, and the body speed was extremely fast. It is no longer the blade that matches your actions, but the action that matches the blade, just like the blade actively looking for the door and slashing away. The moment the golden light sword shadow was pulled out, it disappeared, replaced by thousands of ghost-like injustices. The turbid ghost penetrated into the blade and slashed away with one blade. The sharp blade was ruthless and went straight towards Obito, but there was nothing tangible, just a golden light. When Obito came to his senses, he had been in the air for dozens of seconds. Opposite him, Neji was panting, holding the sword in his hand. Crack kaka kaka kaka. The Skymarsh spear in Obito's hand has been completely shattered, with countless cracks appearing. Hee, that's just it. According to what you said, my Tianju spear is in an extremely fragile state. However, even if my willpower is already very fragile as you said, the moves you put all your strength into are still the same. Didn't beat me. When Obito was sneering, when he was proud. But Neji smiled softly. What are you laughing at? Obito is very sensitive, and he can't help but wonder in his heart at this moment, his own reaction seems to be exactly what Neji said. His will has been shaken badly. Otherwise, how could it be so sensitive and suspicious? And he wanted so much to prove that he was on the right path. Did you take a closer look? Neji laughed. Obito looked and saw that the blade in Neji's hand was still in the scabbard. The move just now, Neji swung out together with the scabbard behind him, and used it to attach the scabbard to the blade without using the real power of the blade. The move just now was just a hot field. The real ghost slash is definitely more than this level. Neji's indifferent and cold words made Obito's heart feel a little flustered. Am I going to lose? His pupils can't help shaking. This guy in front of him is really too strong. Whether it is strength or spiritual power. Uchiha Obito, do you know why you, with the body of 6 paths, and the eye of the immortal, Rinnegan, are immune to all ninjutsu, but not sage art? Logically speaking, sage art is different from taijutsu. On the contrary, like ninjutsu, it uses natural energy to cause damage, which is different from the physical damage that outputs taijutsu. Before Neji could finish speaking, Obito replied impatiently, of course. Sage art's chakras do not belong to the divine tree. The stone tablets of the Uchiha family clearly record that chakras come from the divine tree, but sage art's chakras come from the divine tree. The source is not clear. Sage art belongs to the ninja world. Or, it belongs to this world. Forget it, this is not important. The important thing is that we all belong to this world. Including the current you, but the current you is this world. Sinners. Neji's words were very sharp, as if at this moment he had become a god capable of master Obito's destiny. Neji noticed that since he had the consciousness of Godhead, he especially liked preaching. Even a hopeless person like Mingmian can easily feel compassion in his heart. God. Indeed, if there is no way to strengthen the common people, I am afraid that I will not have the face to pretend to be a god. However, Neji does not advocate such a world. The consciousness of the Godhead is the constraint of the Godhead, but Neji does not intend to give up being an individual. As an excellent ninja and swordsman, he will never easily forgive someone like Uchiha Obito. Let me tell you, sage art existed in this world before the 6 Paths Immortals. Even the steel of the Uchiha clan you saw, the princess from a faraway place mentioned in rumors, he is also in sage art. It came to this world after the existence of energy. Quote. Obito was a little surprised by Neji's words. because according to the impression and character Neji gave him, it is unlikely to give him unreliable news. Other words, the results of Neji's private investigations are mostly real results. Six Paths Immortals is likely to be just more fabricated details of later generations. Rumor has it that the Six Paths sage used Chibaku Tensai, heavenly body bursting from the earth, to seal the shell of the Ten Tails, now known as Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. But how does a guy with a slightly bigger body just divide the yin to create a moon? The solution to this matter is simple, that the moon was not made by the Six Paths fairy at all. Instead, borrow. Six Paths Immortals use the gravity of the moon to seal the Ten Tails. But times have changed, and now people have investigated and deduced the truth of the matter. Sage art is the original power of this world. He is above the ninja sect based on the yin and yang of the Six Paths Immortals. Otsutsuki Hamura founded the ninja sect. But he is still 180,000 away from the creator. Don't underestimate the original power of this world. The curse of this ninja world, the scourge brought by chakra. But the people who have been using the rumored chakra for their own selfish desires seem to be you. Neji's words struck Obito's heart word by word. You guy, you are really good at reading people's hearts. Obito bit Kiba, feeling extremely heavy. Neji said, the real curse is to have people like you for revenge for boredom, and for peace, putting the cart before the horse and putting everything on chakra. If you want to see this world as hopeless, then what you are using now the power of, is even more shameful. Ziz. Neji finished speaking, the Amana spear slowly recovered, and then began to shrink. It gradually became smaller, until it was about the size of a giant sword. It is about 2 meters in length and less than half a meter in width. With this size now, does it prove that my willpower is stronger? Neji narrowed his eyes slightly. He really didn't expect that his words not only did not persuade Obito in front of him, but actually made him more fighting spirit. It seems, I really am not a preaching chat. Neji let out a slow sigh, but it was clearly a lot bigger than before. He smiled wryly and murmured, compared to Naruto's mouth, it seems that I am still far behind. Neji stretched out his hands, holding the hilt of the Shugarita sword with both hands, and the scabbard with the other. Once this sword is drawn, the battle with you will be technical. Neji looked indifferent. And Obito sneered, if you can do it, come. Now I have never felt that my will has conquered everything in the world. Neji ticked the corner of his mouth, is it stronger? This is good news for me. As long as the strengths of a thing become more obvious, then it will be easier to find its weaknesses. For example, Neji secretly smiled, looking at the Amazuma spear in Obito's hand with a complicated expression. Chapter 533 Will. Better. You bastard. Obito gasped deeply, and although he was able to deal with Neji's attack, it was clearly not as calm as before. Relying on the strength of willpower, Obito's Amana spear became the strongest weapon in the ninja world, but it was shaken by Neji. At the moment when his will was shaken, Obito also clearly felt that the Amanuma spear in his hand became heavier. He recalled what Neji had said before. The core of a weapon is not its size but its use. According to that statement, then his will is not strong at all. Is this all an illusion? Will I regret it too? Impossible. Obito bit Kiba and said angrily, you bastard. What the hell is that look? He looked into Neji's eyes with the courage to die generously. In Neji's eyes, it seems that Obito is already a dying person at this moment. Did Obito read pity in Neji's eyes? I am the god of this world, and I will lead this world to true peace. You. Obito gasped, and at this moment, he felt a deep denial. It was Neji who was looking at him from a higher perspective. Are you afraid of the eyes of others even though it is the way to God? However, this person in front of him is obviously immortal. Go to hell. Obito clenched his fists, he didn't want to confirm anymore. Originally, I just wanted to make sure that the path he took was correct enough through a special existence like Neji. He wants to defeat this demon, the trouble that has been difficult to solve since he jumped up a few years ago, and wants to completely deny everything about Neji to prove that the path he has taken is extremely correct. But, not anymore. Otherwise, go ahead and do it regardless. CCC. The Amana spear swung in the air, getting sharper and smaller, fulfilling everything Neji said. Obito has become more and more confident, and his will has become stronger and stronger. You go to that world and regret it slowly. Ha! Sound, the knife slashed down. Due to the strengthening of willpower, the speed of the weapon is extremely fast, and Neji did not dodge. Obito murmured, "Hee, is it dead? You can't dodge this kind of attack." No. The two got closer, Obito's eyes widened and he saw Neji's sneer. I saw Obito's knife slashed on Neji's body. The sharpest blade on the sword was against Neji's left shoulder, the clothing on the left shoulder had been cut off, and the swamp spear was cut like mud. In Obito's rage, has been inspired to the peak, has grown to the final stage. This is something Obito couldn't do even in the original. At this moment, Neji inspired Obito, the strongest willpower. But couldn't move forward. Neji's skin was like steel. No matter how hard Obito tried, he couldn't cut in. PFF'd, as if picking up a match in the dark and scratching it, the fire of the stars ignited. On Neji's left shoulder, the churning flames slowly burned above the Amanuma spear. The Skymarsh spear is related to my will. As long as my will to kill you is strong enough, you cannot destroy this sword. When Obito realized that Neji was targeting the sword, he was even more dismissive. And Neji said unhurriedly, "Are you sure?" Ziz. The part of the Amana spear started to melt. Then, the black substance, like black paint, slowly turned into a viscous liquid and flowed down. Obito was stunned, his eyes widened and he said, "How could it be? Could it be that your power has surpassed the 6 paths immortal?" Neji was both angry and funny when he heard this. If he could explode with strength, he would really surpass the semi-holy existence of the 6 paths immortal. But at this time, because he was banned, he couldn't use his real strength, so in fact, Neji had no way to destroy this Amana spear. The reason is that, haha, because my will is stronger than yours. Better than me. Neji's answer left Obito completely dumbfounded. Although you can stubbornly follow your own path and think that you are the person with the strongest will in the world. No one can persuade you to turn back, but you cannot understand the path of others. It is precisely because you cannot understand others, so you will be disappointed in this world, even if you think Naruto and the others will follow your path again, but there will always be a minority of Avengers like you in this world. More people are hiding their pain and walking. Neji's eyes widened, he stretched out his hand, and firmly grasped the Amanuma spear that had become sharper in Obito's hand. Baby. Blood splattered immediately. The Amana spear is absolutely aggressive, and its lethality is no less than the evil spirit. The above part that was held was almost shapeless by Neji's Vulcan body. Obito was also very surprised and murmured, "You guy, you don't look like a human anymore." I saw that around Neji's eyes, there were lines of orangutan Yuhi color, sage mode. Neji said, "Now I have the consciousness of Godhead, in terms of will, you can't beat me." Neji's words, coupled with what Obito had seen before, made him subvert his cognition and entered a deep self-doubt. Who is he? The point of doing this. What is it? What if I go wrong? Obito took a step back, only to find himself where he was. Neji in front of him, already breathing rapidly, slowly fell. Whoa! Neji was tired and had already released the Byakugan chakra mode and landed slowly. Obito, who is still floating in the sky, let go. Spear in his hand has gradually turned into a black loose substance, and even the state of Gudodama truth-seeking ball cannot be restored. Whoosh! Obito also landed quickly and looked up. I saw that the tired Neji fell to the ground, and there was no wound. Obito was startled, bit Kiba and said, "You bastard. You really used demonic illusion." Neji's mouth twitched and said, "It's too late to realize now. Also, the Byakugan illusion I used on you is not a demonic illusion. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to use the Eye of Shisui to use the demonic illusion on you, I'll kill you eventually." Neji's eyes suddenly sharpened. Obito was really sincere and felt scared. "That's a look of hatred." Neji explained indifferently. "I destroyed your willpower in demonic illusion, and now that your will is loose, the Amazuma spear will not appear twice in the same person. Even the Six Paths sage back then, it was only when the 10 tails were sealed, the weapon was transformed due to too strong will, and it has never appeared in the world since then." Neji stood up slowly. He just didn't expect that the power of prohibition would become more and more powerful, and this thing could become more and more powerful through the flow of time. In order to use demonic illusion, Neji turned on Tenseigin, which must be equivalent to Rinnegan level eyes to make demonic illusion in Obito. And once you use your own chakra power, you will come into contact with the forbidden power given by Urashi, and almost exhaust all of Neji's chakra at once. It's too dangerous. This is tantamount to parasitizing a blood-sucking worm in Neji's body. No matter how much he eats, he will be sucked up and there will be nothing left. Chapter 534 Kill. Never Forgive. Ha! Neji frowned slightly and held out his hand. Holding a scabbard in his hand, the Shukari sword just now was thrown away by the Tianju spear when it was slashed. This is also what Neji did not expect. Uchiha Obito, the willpower is so strong. Can even the power of the gods be able to contend? But it's also about Neji itself. Although the body of the Vulcan has grown into the realm of returning to its original state, the consciousness of the godhead does not have enough strength to contend. This is like a tenacious warrior who has the toughest body and steel-like armor in the world, but insists that he lose everything. Memories of fighting, lost all fighting skills. It's like giving the world's sharpest sword to the world's weakest scholar, who may not be able to beat even a 3-sect and 9-class samurai. Neji let out a heavy sigh. Since the previous injury, now seems to be the most embarrassing situation. Otsutsuki Ura style, Neji will have a chance to meet this guy, and will definitely give it back. Click, Neji put the scabbard in his hand back behind his back. It was stuck tightly to the straps tightly tied to the clothes. Neji's outfit has long ceased to look like a ninja, and through the way of fighting, it is even more obvious. This fight, Neji looked exhausted, and when others saw it, they didn't know the reason, they only understood the power of Six Paths Obito. Neji untied the straps around his forehead and let them loose. Then he caught it firmly and tucked it into his clothes. On the forehead, there is a less obvious scar. Is that the caged bird spell from the Hyuga branch? Obito frowned slightly and looked over. He narrowed his eyes again and murmured, No, I have seen the caged bird curse with my own eyes. And under Orochimaru's information, Yugai used all resources to remove all the caged bird curses in the branch, right? Then, isn't the restraining power in your body the curse mark of the bird in the cage? That is. Then, he snorted coldly. HMPH, that's all. None of this matters. He stretched out his hand, and the black matter in the air condensed together again. I have Hashirama cells in my body. Even if the ability of Mangekyo Sharingan is lost after Six Paths transformation, the recovery power of Hashirama cells has not been lost. Although this recovery power cannot restore my will, Amanuma spear does not disappear when it disappears. Quote. Shoo, tilde. The black matter circled, and the sword and shield in his hand appeared again, this time in a huge shape. But Obito waved, seemingly effortlessly. But you don't have the strength to fight anymore. Neji twitched the corner of his mouth and smiled, I can see the weakness of that thing now. Neji waited for Byakugan, staring at Amanuma spear. What did you say? Obito panicked. Neji stretched out his hand and said, the relics of the old era should be buried deep underground. There is a new era in the new era, and there is no need for such old-era things to come to the world. Neji's eyes widened, and the golden light flashed. Not far away, a golden light flashed and came quickly, and Neji caught it steadily. Is it the Shukari sword? You should have seen the absolute one just now. The knife used to suppress evil spirits is not very aggressive, and it is not enough to deal with the Tianju spear. After the Tianquan spear is shattered, it can be restored indefinitely. Thorn. Huge sound, ringing. A bright giant blade pierced straight into the sword of the Tianju spear. Insert it, but this time, the Amanuma spear did not shatter. I saw that the blade extended from the blade of the Shikaruta sword through Neji's swing, and it seemed to be the shape of another sword. It is no longer the shape of the katana sword, but a straight sword, a double-edged sword. On the huge sword, the raging fire ignited, which was staggering. This isn't the Shugurita sword. The Shugurita sword was originally an auxiliary sword to be used in conjunction. Neji breathed a sigh of relief, and after brewing for a long time while Obito observed himself, he was finally able to make this move. This is my last trump card, it seems. Itachi's will is finally completed in my hands. Sasuke was almost led astray by you, which completely violated Itachi's last wish. When Itachi was alive, I also because of the existence of Sasuke survived your black hand in Konoha village. The agreement with Itachi, you can't shoot at Konoha village. But after Itachi died, you immediately started on Sasuke, but I was not in Konoha village at that time. After I come back, you will have nothing to do with me. Neji said so, as if to expose his shortcomings in public. Ten-Fist Sword, Itachi, you won't let me rest assured even if you die. Obito bit Kiba and frowned. Whoa 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 whoa. There was a rumbling around, and there was a lot of movement. The entire piece of Skymarsh spear was completely absorbed by Neji's Ten-Fist Sword, and curled up until it was completely absorbed into the Ten-Fist Sword like flowing water. The Ten-Fist Sword also shrunk back above the Juji Teidao, and the Juji Teidao vibrated a few times. Is this the seal of the Ten-Fist Sword and the Shugutai Sword? The Eternal Seal is in a drunken dream, because the Amazuma Spear is already a consciousness weapon above the Six Paths level, and he has injected your will, Obito. So this guy, now that you have your own consciousness, you will be sealed together by the Ten-Fist Sword as an evil spirit. Anyway, this kind of thing left in the world is just to deceive a young man like you. Listening to Neji's preaching, Obito bit Kiba. He felt a sigh of anger in his heart, and his efforts over the years were actually nothing in Neji's eyes. And, more importantly, your willpower is not strong enough. What I saw before was true, what I saw with the soul orb was true, in your mind. Doesn't it still exist now? It still exists. Yes, Nohara Rin, Hitaki Kakashi, Namikaze Minato. You should be honored as Hokage's disciple. Neji said a few words, and Obito fell into the deep Uzumaki. It seems to be together in the past. Get involved. Do I regret it? Obito stared blankly at his palm. The flow of chakra was normal, and demonic illusion had long since been lifted. None of this was an illusion. What Neji said was true, and he really regretted it. And regret itself is not terrible. The most terrible thing is that he admitted his regret. How will you be killed, or be forgiven? Rin won't forgive himself no matter what, right? At this moment, Neji stretched out his hand and clenched the Shugurita sword in both hands. Sorry, the soul orb can still read your thoughts. No matter who forgives you, I will not forgive you. Killing your own master, triggering the coup of the Uchiha clan and killing the entire clan together with Itachi, Naruto and Sasuke, all the ups and downs, you brought it all. I will kill you completely, you are not worthy of living now. Quote. Neji has wanted to do this for a long time. In the original book, Obito was finally able to clean up and help the protagonist team seal Kagaya. It's not bad that he has his own charm and willpower, but his actions are by no means easily forgiven. Now Neji has grown strong enough to not need to rely on this power to defeat the enemy. Neji can do it by himself. There is no need to rely on such power. As a witness of Konoha village for more than 10 years, Neji deeply understands the influence of those secret people on the village, and he does not intend to forgive. Are you going to kill me? Obito murmured. Neji didn't answer. A cold wind blew fruit, and the hair on his forehead fluttered slightly. The swordsman's eyes are sharp and keen. In any case, this person in front of me. Absolutely do not forgive. Chapter 535 Obito. Kakashi and Rin. It's over. Neji did it for another reason. Now Obito still has Rinnegan's on him. If they don't get rid of them, Madara will realize 2 Rinnegans, plus a collection of 9-tailed beasts. According to this development, it may really surpass the 6 Paths Immortals of the year, and Neji, who can't exert his strength now, may really be unable to control it. Neji, the power of restraint, has not had a chance to study it properly, and Neji planned to do so from the beginning. Sealing, Jizo. Neji got the artifact. He planned to use the artifact to defeat Obito here by surprise, and then prevent Madara's resurrection. Using the exchanged SSS level sealing technique, Madara was completely sealed and the ninja world moved towards peace. Be the hero to end this battle, and Neji goes to solve other problems. So, the current plan is still going smoothly. Farewell. One knife cut, Neji's body moved. This knife is full of evil spirits, and Neji has used the power of the gods. Almost turned into a god, Obito is also disheartened, and he has also understood in the previous duel that he is not Neji's opponent. And since you have doubts about your own path, there is no need to go on. It's just, inside, there seems to be something echoing. Obito. The gentle voice was calling out to him. Obito, what are you doing? A low and magnetic voice sounded. When? A loud noise, a strong defense withstood Neji's attack. Neji was stunned, his eyes widened, and the opponent entered the arena at a speed that he could not have predicted. Madara's body flew over and blocked Obito's face. Uchiha's fan was covered with a layer of Susanoo, blocking Neji's full-strength knife. Crack. Susanoo's armor ripped open, and Neji frowned slightly and jumped. He retreated to the rear. Madara's appearance was unexpected, and he went to defend subconsciously. But Madara didn't attack immediately, even if it was impure world reincarnation's body. Madara didn't plan to rush over so unguarded. After all, how dangerous the fight with Hyuga Neji is, he has experienced it himself. I want to thank your shadow clone for the experience you gave me when fighting with me. You are really strong in taijutsu, so the insurance must be better, or maybe this blow can't be blocked. Madara said. Susanoo shattered. Crack. Then, the Uchiha fan inside was also torn apart. Madara dumbly raised her hand and picked up the fan. It was already torn apart, and only 1/3 of the fan remained, plus a handle. Madara was speechless and sighed. Hey, Tilda. Crack. The fan was thrown aside. Madara took a few steps forward, closing her eyes in disdain. Forget it, don't worry about it. But I really didn't expect. Madara raised her head, opened her eyes and looked straight at Neji. Your attack is so powerful, did you destroy not only my Susanoo, but also the magical Uchiha fan? After that, he muttered to himself again in his heart. That black attack, remember it's called suffocating energy. Is it a kind of sage art energy? What else? Be careful of all this guy's attacks. Madara couldn't help guessing that Neji Master Sage Art and Suffocation might soon launch an attack similar to Yin and Yang Escape, and even Impure World Reincarnation's body would not be able to hold it up and would not be able to resurrect. Moreover, in Neji's confident eyes, Madara had reason to suspect that Neji also possessed a powerful sealing technique enough to seal him off. The guy this guy followed before was named Karen, right? It seems to be a girl from the Uzumaki clan. Could it be that this kid has learned the Uzumaki Mito sealing technique? No, that shouldn't be possible. But he is different from Naruto. Killing Obito directly seems to have guessed my plan and wanted to prevent Obito from resurrecting me. Madara thought to herself, and Neji frowned. There is a flaw. Huh. Spiritual transformation. Neji motivated the last chakra left in the body, opened the Sage mode, and used the technique of spiritualization. This is already his strongest attack, and it is also the fastest. The point of spiritual transformation is that although the speed is not as fast, it can use the potential energy of the moving distance to launch an attack. Just Hiraishin's words are not enough to deal a threatening blow to Madara, and Neji doesn't have any spells. Spiritualization. It is able to attack the soul. Impure world reincarnation. The soul is the weakness to the fragile. After that, use the Ten-Fist Sword or Jizo to seal it. Let Madara fall into reincarnation forever. In just a few seconds, Madara and Neji had countless games of thought. Bang! Neji slapped Madara's back with a palm, and behind Madara, a faint blue bone grew. Senpo, Sage Art Katakana Middle. Iori Air Strike. Obito, who was behind him, was startled, and immediately stepped back dozens of meters. Putting Sage Art Chakra into the palm of his hand, Neji bit Kiba with a faint look of being unable to hold on. This blow, Madara will be penetrated along with Susanoo and his body, sealing him before impure world reincarnation is resurrected. And Madara knows this very well. Go back a long time ago and start hand seal. But just after he finished the seal, he found that Neji was stunned in place, and the chakra gathered in his palms had not been released for a long time. And how can Madara show mercy? Seize the moment. Mokuden, wood style, flower deep forest emergence. Boom. Countless tree roots opened with huge petals, and the ground rumbled. This scale is much larger than the previous Kabuto's inorganic reincarnation, and it has both lethality. Neji's whole body was curled up and tightly bound. Chakla. Neji frowned slightly, the strength of his body was continuously sucked away, and the Senpo, Sage Art condensed in the palm of his hand was also absorbed and slowly dissipated. Madara looked at Neji who was hung up by the vine, and said with a chuckle, now. It's almost over. Neji, on the other hand, had a cold sweat on his forehead, and the restraining power in his body seemed to be gushing out from his body. Neji had spent all his strength just subconsciously holding back this power. This feeling is like nausea and vomiting, but it takes all the strength of the whole body to overcome. Not far away, Obito was watching all this, his eyes widened in a daze. Obito. Rin. Obito raised his head blankly, and he kept his head down, realizing that Rin was in front of him. And behind Rin is Kakashi. Hey, Obito, aren't you going to help Grandma again? What's going on? You're late for such an important day. Ha ha. Behind Rin, Kakashi held his forehead helplessly and said with emotion, really? This guy is helpless. Let's go first, Rin. Obito frowned. He was about to speak, but when he noticed a figure that overlapped with him, he stood up abruptly. A teenager, Obito. Hey, stop. Damn it. Kakashi, don't be rude. I was just walking on the road and my eyes were covered by the wind and sand, so I went home to get eye drops. Forget it, your excuses are getting worse and worse. By the way, what are we doing today? Today is the birth of Minato-sensei's child. Kushina-sensei is going to give birth, let's guard it. Looking at the back of the group of people leaving, Obito lowered his head dully and laughed at himself. Is that so? It was my fantasy, today. Obito was stunned for a moment. Rin and Kakashi just now seemed to remind him of something. 17 years ago, he killed his teacher and wife, used Kyuubi, 9 tails. To bring such a disaster to Konoha village. Chapter 536 Demonic Illusion. Mirror Sharingan. That's right, I killed my teacher with my own hands, forced my teacher's family into a corner, and forced the villagers of Konoha village into a corner. Yes, it's you. Obito was startled and looked up. In the spiritual realm, he saw the boy from 20 years ago. That young man was in high spirits, and it was his young self. Despite his weak strength, he has never been able to beat Kakashi, and even Might Guy can completely crush him in strength. Ninjutsu and taijutsu can't bloom, so only demonic illusion is left. It's ridiculous. With Sharingan, you should have been able to master the powerful demonic illusion. However, your demonic illusion has plunged itself into it and became the demonic illusion. Madara is using you, you should know. That boy's voice used to be so familiar. After all, that was originally his own voice. Obito's mouth trembled slightly, unable to describe his feelings. 20 years have passed, and in the blink of an eye, it was 17 years ago that he created the Kyuubi, Nine-Tails Rebellion. With that baby cry, he saw in the darkness that Minato and Kushina protected the child with their lives. I don't know if it was due to some kind of coincidence, or because of my own guilt, that I haven't shot Uzumaki Naruto for 17 years. It turns out that in my heart, will I regret it? Obito was completely shaken by Neji. Only when people are shaken by their strength will they doubt whether what they are doing is right or wrong. When a person is strong enough, he will believe in himself as a god, and regard himself as the master of all things, and he is so stupid that he thinks that he can judge the life and death of others. Even as a sinner as himself, Neji found the absolute reason to kill himself. Don't you deserve to die? In fact, Neji didn't need to talk to him so much. At first, Obito thought that Neji was just trying to shake his will for the victory of the Ninja Alliance, so he couldn't hear those words. Even if his will is really shaken, there is no need to listen to the words of the enemy. However, after Neji shook his will, he still chose to kill himself. What Neji said, there was no way to win over him at all. Obito only now understands where the confidence revealed in Neji's eyes came from. Because the path taken is very correct, bathed in the sun and recognized by everyone. Walking in the dark, Itachi has completely proved that doing so will not bring peace to the world. And will suffer unbearable pain for ordinary people. Madara, what do I mean to you? Seeing Neji in front of him falling into a near coma, Obito walked over slowly. Madara turned her head hesitantly and looked at Obito, who had re-released his power from the Six Paths Fairy and became immortal, with a complicated expression. Obito frowned slightly, as if he couldn't help but vomit. Then, a mouthful of blood spit out from his mouth. And behind him, a green light shines, and all the chakras swarmed up. Whoa 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 whoa. Boom, boom 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 boom. Kyuubi, Nine-Tails, who were not absorbed, all the seven-tailed beasts were released. Ba-ah-ah. Boom. Obito bit Kiba, his eyes were dull and empty, and a huge chakra appeared behind him again, rushing out. Soon, those forces converged into a divine tree, rising into the sky again. This time, the divine tree was even taller, but it was out of control. Such a huge amount of chakra. Obito was also weakened a lot at the moment. Madara widened her eyes, and her attention suddenly shifted from the weak Neji to the weak Obito. Because of lack of willpower, is it almost swallowed up by 10 tails. But the tailed beast has left your body, and now even the divine tree can't live in your body. Madara muttered, the corner of her mouth twitching. Hyuga Neji, I thank you very much for weakening Obito's power, and I don't have to bother. As a thank you, I won't kill you now. Madara said, leaving Neji aside. Roots came loose, and the roots that curled around Neji brought Neji down. Neji landed, he took a few breaths and dissipated the chakra that had been gathered in his hands. Originally, I wanted to use the combination of 8 trigrams and Yinden Bishamonten to forcefully use the time and space ninjutsu to get out of control to spread the distance, but now it seems that Madara's interest has gone elsewhere. Madara, what do I mean to you? Hee, what does that mean? To me, you are nothing, you are Madara, Uchiha Madara. Hearing this answer, Obito was slightly startled, his heart pounding and complicated. I'm Madara. Obito was a little surprised. Madara smiled and said, even without you, I would choose someone else. Anyone can complete this plan. Let you go ahead of me and become Madara as my savior, now. It's time for a change. Obito, you've failed, it's time for the real Madara to play. Madara said this. Obito frowned slightly, and seemed to want to do it, but PFF'd. A black substance penetrated into Obito's body. He widened his eyes, and the black body completely enveloped Obito. Hey! I saw that black Zetsu completely controlled Obito, and then, a white Zetsu slowly jumped beside Madara. Lord Madara, this is Mirror's Sharingan. Mirror. Obito bit Kiba, struggling to struggle. Madara chuckled lightly, took the Sharingan from White Zetsu's hand, and put it directly on her own eyes. Since it is the body of impure world reincarnation, it doesn't even use blood. Then. Demonic illusion. Madara's Sharingan spins rapidly, and the mirror's Mangekyo pattern is angular, like a cube. Uchiha Kagami is a ninja in the same period as the third-generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, and is also a disciple of the second-generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. As the uncle of Uchiha Shisui, the talent of demonic illusion is inherited in the same line. Demonic illusion by Uchiha Kagami also contributed greatly to Konoha during the war. Obito has lost all consciousness and the seal in his mind of Rinne Tensai, Samsara of heavenly life, has manifested. And Black Zetsu is controlling Obito. Even if Obito has Senju Hashirama, he can't resist at all. The next step is time to complete the plan. Madara smiled, and the expression on her face gradually became mad. A figure came quickly. Madara backed back, only to see that it was Neji who fluttered. Madara said with a smile, Mirror's Sharingan is not only strong in demonic illusion, but also in top observation ability. But Neji's purpose is not him, but Obito. Black Zetsu quickly stopped performing the spell and widened his eyes. Hey, Tilda. Neji was startled, his knife completely passed through Obito's body. Madara murmured, want to stop me from resurrecting this guy. And Black Zetsu said in a hoarse voice, I have also been lurking in Akatsuki for decades. I know Obito's abilities best. You can't kill me. Neji, who had passed through his body, still turned over and pointed at the back of Obito, who was being controlled by Black Zetsu, with the Shikaridachi in his hand. That's right, but if you want to avoid my attack, you can't use the Rinne Tensai, Samsara of heavenly life art. Once the caster dies, the art ends. Madara clenched her fists as Neji spoke. You bastard. That's what you planned from the beginning. I really underestimate you, boy. The face of Neji, who was swept up again, and even almost exhausted his chakra, he was going to use swordsmanship to threaten Neji. Madara was angry. Chapter 537 Startup. The Art of Rinne Tensai, Samsara of Heavenly Life. But, it's just a sideshow. It's enough, it won't look good if there is too much. Madara glanced at Neji indifferently, and suddenly killed her. Although you have good eyes and juniors, you who are not of the Uchiha clan cannot understand the power of the Uchiha clan. Madara is going fast, very fast. Neji bit Kiba. Madara grabbed her neck and stepped back. Madara's face. But the next moment, the Neji in his hand turned into a white light. Whoosh. Spiritual transformation. The same method as Kamizuki. Madara narrowed her eyes, then smiled contemptuously, and the proficiency is high. Really? Neji was surprised, but he didn't expect Uchiha Madara to know Hyuga Kamizuki. The origin of this probably goes back a long time. But now, to stop Madara, I'm afraid. Neji felt that every time he released his ninjutsu, he would feel the limitation of his strength, and that limitation had been dragging down his chakra exhaustion. Although he has the body of Vulcan, the speed of recovering chakra is extremely fast, but the power of restraint is that the more he consumes it, the more he absorbs it. Even if you stop fighting for 5 minutes, the chakra will be absorbed by one move within 5 seconds. This has led to Neji's offense and defense can always only be carried out in 1 or desperate offense, but almost lost the means of defense. Either you can only retreat without a bottom line, then there is no way to seize the opportunity of the enemy's flaws to counterattack. If this war of attrition continues, sooner or later, he will be completely sealed by the power of prohibition. This thing that Pushi left behind is really abominable. It seems that there are also people in Otsutsuki who hope that the plan of Kagaya's resurrection will be successful. What will Kagaya's resurrection bring at the same time? With the confidence of Neji's current master, it is completely difficult to speculate. The world of gods and fairy beasts is completely separated from chakra. If it is related to those, Neji can only overthrow the previous arbitrariness and redefine it. It is very likely that Kagaya came to Hokage planet to cultivate chakra fruiting thousands of years ago, but the story of Otsutsuki making chakra may be traced back to a much longer origin, a few eternal. Or dozens of eternal. Ding, tilde. Madara's attack caused Neji to retreat. In the end, the Shikuruta sword was knocked into the air, and after spinning a few times in the air, Madara quickly got up and grabbed it. The legendary sword. Humph. But what about Madara's mouth twitched, and she was about to slash. But the next moment, there seemed to be thousands of resentful spirits inside, roaring in unison. Ooh! With a harsh and sharp cry, each of those resentful spirits seemed to have the power of a tailed beast, and they were mentally defeating Madara. Damn! With a bang, the sword was thrown away by Madara, and after a few laps in the air, it landed steadily. Kai was inserted into the ground, and it really was as sharp as iron. Knife fell behind Madara. Madara narrowed her eyes slightly. Afterwards, he snorted and said, "It seems that the Hyuga clan, with the secret assistance of that guy Kamizuki, seems to have a decent descendant." This was a tone that forced him to admit his opponent. That sword was undoubtedly a weapon that a master couldn't handle, but Neji was able to handle it with ease. At this moment, Madara accidentally saw Neji's forehead. The forehead guard had been put away. The tiny trace was very obvious in front of Madara, who had a mirror. It seems. Hyuga Neji, this guy used to belong to the branch of Hyuga, but for some reason, did he break the seal? Hee. But if it's not the reason for the spell of the bird in the cage, then in the end, what caused his power to be sealed? Madara couldn't help but wonder. Neji took a few steps back, suddenly smiled softly, and jumped. Boom. Bang. With a loud sound, a meteorite-like crater was smashed into the ground. The beating of the big toad in Iwasu almost caused an earthquake-like vibration in the vicinity. The remaining elites of the ninja coalition will surround themselves at this moment. Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke who have recovered chakra. Neji, are you all right? Ah, I'm fine, I just need to rest, I'll leave it to you for the time being. Neji took a deep leap and jumped over the head of the big toad of Iwajuku. Two small figures came quickly, standing on Neji's left and right shoulders. They were Immortal Fukasaku and Immortal Shimani. A mortal beast. It seems that capturing the big toad of Yansu was the right choice. Moreover, the benefits provided by the fire soul beads of the big toad of Yansu are unmatched by other things. Neji breathed a sigh of relief. No matter how strong Pushi's restraining power was, it would not be able to affect the power outside his body. For now, the defense power of Iwasu toad is about the level of 10 tails. Very powerful. Immortal Fukasaku, who was standing on top of him, said, "Hee. The big toad of Yansu is not too aggressive, it's a pity. Boy, if you channel the Spider Queen bred from the soul bead you have. Come out, that is the real aggressive fairy beast, all the attacks are the very dense sage art energy body. However, I have already promised Immortal Zima not to use the psychic beast that killed your children. Although it is an immortal beast, it is a heinous beast." Neji muttered. Although the situation is difficult now, he is not completely free to go. Immortal Zima was silent for a moment, thinking of Jiraiya's death. Little Jiraiya was killed by the madman like Akatsuki. The boy's father, I can't control this much now. Neji, If you can use the Spider Queen to defeat the enemy, you can use it. Seeing Immortal Zima's determined expression, Neji nodded and smiled in relief. After a long time, he explained, "Thank you both of you, but it doesn't seem necessary now. Please cooperate with me to absorb enough Sage Art Chakra. Now the battle is the most critical time, to help Sasuke and Naruto. Completely seal Madara. Madara cannot be resurrected." Watched Neji sit down and close his eyes. Thinking of the words Gamamaru said before he completely retired, he suddenly felt that it was so reasonable. "Neji, you are indeed the chosen one. Quick, stop struggling. Like Nagato, you are a loser." Black Zetsu's voice, next to Obito's ear. And that black mask covered Obito's body, trying to steal the ownership of his body. However, Obito was powerless. He tried his best to stop Black Zetsu's movements, and Black Zetsu said, "Don't struggle, if you keep going like this, you will lose your stamina soon. Ten Tails has already drawn. Lee, as a human Jinchuriki column force you can't last too long." "I wouldn't just be." Obito gasped, feeling Rin and Kakashi beside him. He was just a misguided child, and now finally awakened. However, it all seemed too late. When Obito saw that Madara had asked Sasuke and the allied ninja to attack and came to him, Obito had widened his eyes, ready to meet disappointment. Demonic illusion start. I can see everything in front of my eyes, but my body and consciousness are no longer under my control, my hands are in the hand seal. Outlaw Rinne Tensai, Samsara of Heavenly Life Art. Chapter 538 Obsession. Madara and Hashirama. Ziz. Madara, who was standing in front of Obito, finally showed a mad and evil smile for the first time. MMMHH. Madara took off her armor and threw it out. Click, the armor fell to the ground. Then, the corner of his mouth twitched and his eyes widened. The skin on his body began to emit Zilu smoke. The skin became hotter, then calmed down. The abnormality that was originally formed by the gathering of dirty soil, unlike the appearance of a living person, has finally returned to peace at this moment, returning to the state of a normal person. Uchiha Madara, Resurrection. Madara reached out and took a bite on her arm. Blood flowed. He gave a weird smile and widened his eyes. It's been a long time, this feeling of being alive. Puff, puff, heartbeat. Everything is so unfamiliar yet familiar. Lord Madara, this is Rinnegan. The other one is still on Obito, as long as both are collected. Madara took the Rinnegan from White Zetsu and put it on her right eye. Start now, substitutions. Madara's mouth twitched, her eyes were rounded, and a knife was inserted straight into her heart behind her. Scoff. From Hashirama Sage Art Chakra's face, the position of the heart pierced straight out. Madara's mouth was bleeding, and her eyes were rounded dumbly. I saw behind it, it was Uchiha Obito, holding Neji's sake katana, and stabbing it into Madara's heart. Madara breathed a sigh of relief when she realized it was Obito. It seems to be a false alarm. If it is you, it seems that there is no way to use the power of this sword. The 10-fist swords are very powerful. However, everything is over. Now I have Rinnegan. Even the divine weapon 10-fist sword can't completely seal me. Madara let out a soft voice, struggling with a jolt. Bang! The sword behind him flew backwards from his chest as if it had been blasted. And Obito, who was behind him, was also shocked, and retreated straight back. After retreating for a long distance, Obito stabilized his pace. But when he reacted, Madara in front of him had already arrived in front of him. Is it demonic illusion again? Obito bites Kiba. No, it's me this time. Black Zetsu, who was still attached to Obito, said in a low, hoarse voice. In front of him, Madara moved quickly and stretched out her hand. At this moment, Obito falls into Madara's illusion. However, it entered Madara's inner world. Back in time, 68 years ago, Konoha village is established. Standing on the cliffs of Konoha village, Uchiha Madara, and Senju Hashirama. The two of them were in high spirits and looked at this village that has been given public praise. Madara and Hashirama, their cheerful smiles are real in the memory. Hashirama didn't notice at that moment was the dark corner Madara was hiding, and the deepest disappointment. That is when Madara saw Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama, known as the two brothers of the Senju family by the people in the village. Madara's heart was extremely empty. Uchiha Izuna. Madara's only younger brother was seriously injured by Senju Tobarama and eventually died. Madara's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is obtained by transplanting his younger brother's Sharingan, which allows Madara, who can use Mangekyo Sharingan permanently and permanently without vision loss, to be haunted by the death of his younger brother. But now, Madara has formed an alliance with the enemy who killed his younger brother, and established a village with the brother of that enemy. Coupled with the brutal fighting methods of the Uchiha family, those pedantic groups also have hostile views towards Uchiha Madara. In the Hokage election, although Madara also had no intention of competing, basically no one supported Madara to become Hokage. In such times, the Uchiha family will eventually be forgotten. The end, even the Uchiha clan lost interest in fighting. The era of no battle, the power of the Uchiha clan will weaken and the Sharingan will be lost. Madara realized this sooner than the second-generation Hokage Senju Tobarama. On the last night, he was under the Uchiha clan, looking at the stone tablet. That stone tablet was left by the Six Paths Fairy. The higher the degree of the eye, the more it sees. Madara, as the patriarch of the whole clan, is also the only man who opened the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and naturally he can see the most. The stele records the methods of maintaining Sharingan's power, fighting, hatred. This is the cursed fate of the Uchiha family, and in such a ninja world, the Uchiha family has an indelible mission and meaning of existence. Uchiha Madara finally betrayed and became the first missing nin in Konoha village. Carrying things that ordinary people can't carry. Seeing Madara's life, Obito watched the hand come towards his left eye. The other eye is mine too. But in the nick of time, Obito heard deep inside, Rin's voice, Rin's calling. Obito, I'm watching you. Damn. Once Obito bit Kiba, he stretched out his hand, breaking free from Black Zetsu's control, and his willpower returned. Take control of your body. One stretched out his hand to catch Madara's palm, and the two held hands together. Madara was startled. Obito bit Kiba and said, the fate of the Uchiha clan is up to you. I won't let you destroy the last remaining hope of the Uchiha clan. Then, Obito quickly hand seal with Madara's hand. Then, step back. Kaden fire style, great fireball jutsu. Madara squinted her eyes, didn't even move, just rounded Rinnegan and absorbed all the chakra of Grand Fireball. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He was stunned, and immediately set off, but fluttered in the air. Obito, who was just staring blankly, took the opportunity to use the Mangekyo Sharingan in his right eye to open Kamui and enter the different space. Forget it. Madara breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, a chakra appeared behind him. Neji took a few breaths, and in order to prevent Madara from getting Rinnegan smoothly, Neji took a risk. Looks like you've failed. Neji's mouth smirked, the pattern on his face appeared, and the sage mode had been turned on. Madara looked at Neji indifferently, and murmured, judging from the acupuncture points in the center of your heart, your strength is already very weak. Even so, are you going to die? As a young man of the younger generation, you are very good, really are you my enemy? You are very similar to me, why don't we work together? Madara lost a pawn from Obito and naturally left to find a new pawn. Neji is very clear about this, and he knows that Madara is a very strong enemy now, but he is never afraid of it. No fun. Neji is coming fast, the art of Hiraishin. Hiraishin chop. Madara was stunned and narrowed her eyes, only to see that over there, the Shukari Taidao came quickly and landed firmly in Neji's hands. With a slash, Madara quickly dodged. PFF'd. The boulder behind Madara was chopped open by Neji at a rapid speed. Ai-Zan, are you a samurai? Madara came back to her senses, and Sharingan, who was using the mirror, could easily see through Neji's movements, and refreshed her understanding of Neji once again. Neji, on the other hand, drew his knife, took a few breaths, and felt that his chakra was almost exhausted with just one move. Sage art energy in the body can last at most 2 moves, is it about to end? It's so limited. Madara, who was in front of her, took a deep breath and became slightly vigilant. It seems that you need to be a little more careful. Your knife is very dangerous. Madara speculates that Neji, who is now a living body, immediately came to take the risk of cutting himself. I am afraid that the wine sword has a special attack effect on living people. If you are stabbed, maybe you will really be sealed. Chapter 539 Accident. Forbidden Backlash. Indeed, you are sharp. Neji looked indifferent, looking at Madara in front of him. Madara saw at a glance that her moves had completely overdrawn the power she should have exerted. And when he has been concealing his other identity, a samurai, he suddenly launched an attack in a desperate situation. Madara can also use the living body to react immediately. The difficulty of this is very high. Originally the body of impure world reincarnation, Madara has always adopted a tactic that is not afraid of death. Because even if she is defeated, she will recover, and with the vitality of Hashirama cells, Madara will not be sealed because her recovery speed is too slow. From Tengai Shinsei Heavenly Obstacle Quaking Star to Mokuden Wood Style, Madara's tactics have always been one-to-many because he knows he's immortal. But when he learned that his weapon had such a powerful attack power, he would not be willing to be a rival in love when confronting himself with a living body. If it was an ordinary attack, with Madara's arrogance, he would never avoid it. It can be said that Madara's combat experience is the strongest enemy Neji has ever encountered. How many battles did this guy go through when he was alive? Neji took a breath. Was he nervous too? It's a little bit. After all, Neji himself, as a modern person, has crossed into the world of Hokage, and has always relied on his own powerful strength to face enemies who are not as good as him. Orochimaru, who had a huge gap in strength, in the Forest of Death. However, using the advantages of taijutsu and the weakness of Orochimaru's rival in love, Neji took the opportunity to use that actual battle to quickly improve his strength, but the enemy in front of him couldn't take advantage of it. If you make a mistake, you may really die. Ura's ban was completely unexpected by Neji. Since you have cracked the spell seal of the caged bird, then you should be able to face many seals, right? Or the spell mark. Even Orochimaru's subordinates are under your command, and Hokage was resurrected by you and Orochimaru in all dynasties. You shouldn't worry about the curse mark. Madara narrowed her eyes, and after some speculation, she murmured and asked, could it be that some other force intervened in this war? Your murderous intent towards Obito just now was real, which means that the force behind it is impossible. It's Obito. There is another force that has a restraining force in your body and indirectly helps us. Can I understand that? Madara said. The corner of her mouth twitched. Neji's eyes widened, slightly surprised. The guy in front of him is not just powerful enough to have combat experience. Combat IQ and analytical skills are first class and strong. Madara looked at Neji's expression and knew immediately that she had guessed 1 or 2 right. Not to mention that it is not far from the 10, it is definitely the right direction. I'm afraid I can sense that this is also unexpected, right? In other words, I sense that this will affect your judgment, and thus decipher your moves. Interesting. Finally I can't see you anymore, the confidence and indifference on your face. And the vitality that is more tenacious than Senju Hashirama. Now in my eyes, you are nothing but a dying existence. Although you are still just a little chick bird, but the attack power is still strong. Now you can only rely on that strange sword. Quote. Madara narrowed her eyes, staring at Neji's movements. Just be careful. With Neji in the desert battlefield before, Neji only relied on Shadow Clone to completely open the eyes of Madara, who underestimated the ninja of this era, but now the body is in front of his eyes, but his strength is so single. Basically only use taijutsu, even if Sage Mode is maintained, only a small amount of Sage Art Chakra maintains his speed and adds stronger attack power to the attacking blade. Could it be that your previous spells or demonic illusion were the triggers for the forbidden power in your body? Madara froze for a moment, then realized it later. But the next moment, Neji was already in front of him. So fast. So what? Neji is indifferent, and now he can only bite the bullet. No matter what, we have to delay the opportunity to prevent Madara from becoming six paths smoothly. Huh. One cut, another cut. Madara quickly retreated until she was cornered and jumped up. He flew straight into the height of more than 20 meters, and after a few laps in the air, he landed steadily. Just starting the hand seal, black flames strike. Amaterasu. Boom. Amaterasu's flames burned around Madara. He frowned slightly, changed his gesture, hand seal. With 2 clicks, Sasuke and Naruto landed next to Neji. Neji, who was already a little tired and still insisting on fighting, Naruto patted his shoulder and said, Neji, leave the battlefield to me and Sasuke now. We still have a lot of chakra. Neji lost more chakra because of the forbidden power in his body, and now in the eyes of Naruto and Sasuke, it is just normal consumption of chakra. Neji didn't know how to explain it, but it was undoubtedly a very big hidden danger. Allies are unable to see through their own weaknesses, but the enemy understands themselves more and more in battle. If things go on like this, Sasuke and Naruto will definitely not be the opponents of this guy. Sage Art. Boom. Sasuke's left eye shed tears of fresh Yuhi's blood, and Amaterasu burned even more. This black flame doesn't seem to go away, Amaterasu. What a nice eye, Sasuke. Madara laughs, the last print is done. A lengthy spell, Naruto murmured. What kind of seal does that guy have? I've never seen it before. And, that's Sage Art Chakra. Naruto turned on Sage Mode and could clearly perceive Madara's body to absorb a powerful Sage Art energy. Neji felt compelled to give some information, and said, now that guy has absorbed the Mokudan wood-style technique of the original Hokage Senju Hashirama and Muji, as well as the Sage Art energy of the original Hokage, so he can activate the Sage Art, don't let them the attack hits. Now standing next to him are the reincarnations of Indra and Asura, and Neji has to make sure that nothing will go wrong with them. This is also his last trump card. Even if he has no ability to defeat the enemy, he can use the power of Indra and Asura. Senpo, Sage Art Seal of Sealing Fire. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I saw Madara's whole body lit up with a curse-like imprint, absorbing all the black flames and disappearing without a trace. Sasuke, as a descendant of the Uchiha clan, would you like to join forces with me? The relics of the old times, don't come out and be ashamed. Sasuke, listen to Neji, don't get hit by the attack. Naruto shouted at speed, and saw that Sasuke was still rampaging past. Neji, I'm going to support Sasuke. After saying that, Naruto rushed over quickly. The assistant raised the knife and dropped it and inserted it directly, while Madara only dealt with the black flame and did not escape at all. Thorn. Knife was inserted into Madara's arm. Madara didn't want to dodge at all. Neji frowned, feeling bad inside. Sure enough, he has a lot of fighting experience, the power of Sage Art is in Naruto, and Sasuke's attack is not a big threat to him, so he plans to adopt a more violent fighting method. Zeba Sharingan. Sasuke, don't tell me you're so agile. But, it's nothing. Madara's mouth twitched and her eyes widened. Sasuke was startled, stunned. Demonic illusion. Sasuke, get out of the way. Big Ball Rasengan. And Sasuke was imprisoned, Madara's mouth hooked, and she walked away to meet Naruto. Absorb Naruto's chakra as much as possible. In such a short time, Naruto has no time to use Sage Art Chakra. Bang! Madara drew out Sasuke's sword and spoke to Naruto. Seeing Madara is about to kill the two, Neji immediately hand seal. I can't handle so much anymore, we must save Sasuke and Naruto to end this battle. But, at this moment, Neji thought for a while, and an accident happened. The power of prohibition began to devour in Neji's body, and it ignited completely, like a violent flame, burning Neji's heart with fire. Chapter 540 Protect Yourself. Another use of Huang Izumi's breath. Neji falls on his knees. Over there, Sasuke solved the demonic illusion in time, and the thunder and lightning gathered together. Chidori, lightning cutter. Thorn. Knife passed quickly and Madara was forced to dodge, because Sasuke injected the power of the curse into Chidori, lightning cutter's knife. In the battle between Yunlei Gorge and Killer Bee, Sasuke was saved by Changwu, and the power of the curse in Changwu was absorbed into the body by Sasuke, and it has remained until now. Madara landed, keeping a certain distance, and Naruto had a chance to breathe. Thank you, Sasuke. Naruto gasped and began to condense Sage Art Chakra. Naruto, use Sage Art against this guy, normal chakra will be absorbed by Rinnegan. I know. Madara narrowed her eyes and said, that guy Sasuke also seems to have Sage Art Chakra. Chango itself is the origin of the spell, and the spell itself comes from the Sage Art Chakra. It was precisely because Orochimaru could not practice Sage Art in Raichi Cave that he turned to the power of the spell. So now Sasuke and Naruto's power is what Madara fears. I have to quickly turn into 6 paths. That guy Obito can't use it anymore, maybe he will destroy his left eye. Now Madara's right eye is another Rinnegan brought by White Zetsu, which belongs to him, and the other eye is the Sharingan of the mirror that Black Zetsu got by chance. Mirror's left eye has a special fighting ability, one of which is the short demonic illusion attack. Although it can't be as powerful as Shisui's eye, it can also force the opponent into demonic illusion for a short time. Even Sasuke with Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan also the same. At the same time, he can also provide his own power of observation. In addition, Madara is the owner of Zeba Sharingan, and his physical skills are comparable to Sasuke. And the combat experience is also far higher than the two in front of them, no. 3 people. Madara glanced at Neji over there. In order to absorb the tailed beasts, I have to deal with Naruto and Sasuke first, but if I don't deal with Neji, I might be in danger. I will catch the thief first, and now. Seems like an opportunity. Senpo, Sage Art Futon, Wind Style, Rasenshuriken. A large number of Sage Art chakras gathered together. Madara narrowed her eyes, not even looking at it. Dodge quickly. Bang. Sage Art chakra with such a strong strength can already be avoided just by perception. Madara jumped up, and the corner of her mouth twitched. Then, Rasenshuriken expanded rapidly and exploded. What? Exploded? Madara has already seen countless wind blades, or rather needle-like attacks, coming densely, clearly visible in Madara's eyes. This kind of density of chakra. It doesn't seem like a good move to resist with the flesh. Madara quickly hand-sealed. Instant body art. Directly to Neji's back, over there, Naruto shouted that it was not good. Fuck, Neji, be careful. And Neji is still in a state of almost dormancy at this time. The forbidden power in the body and the body of the Vulcan are constantly fighting, although the power of the Vulcan prevents Neji from being immediately counterattacked, but this heart-piercing pain is almost keep Neji immobile. Game over. Madara chuckled, her eyes rounded, and a hand hit her. But before that, Neji bites the Kiba hand seal. I have another eye. Bang. Madara's hand seemed to hit something invisible and stopped 30 centimeters from Neji's body. That technique again. Madara stepped back quickly, rounding Rinnegan. It's incredible, this art actually exists in the invisible world. Just like my limbo. No wonder it was able to control me at that time. Madara looked at Neji at the moment, almost completely controlled, unable to move. Forbidden technique of the Hyuga family, the breath of Huang Izumi. I only heard about this technique in the mouth of Hyuga Kamizuki back then, but I didn't expect to see it now, but it's still twice in a row. It's just, I didn't expect you, a kid, to actually be able to think of releasing yourself. Madara showed a wicked smile, thinking to herself that a genius like Neji should be drawn to her side. At this moment, Neji has reached the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, with the help of the time difference outside, Neji can take the opportunity to restore his physical strength and chakra. Huang Izumi's breath itself is the time flow that solidifies the target position, and it is lowered at a speed of more than 100 times to achieve dimensional strikes. However, because the flow of time is different, the target imprisoned by Huang Izumi's breath cannot be harmed. Madara can't kill himself during the time period when Madara is unable to break through the time dimension. This is my father's second eye. Neji let out a breath, but that was enough. As always, something to sacrifice in war. Neji, who originally only wanted to protect himself, saw the fighting of the ninja coalition on the battlefield, and he couldn't help but want to fight hard. And from the moment Neji began to abandon himself, he only had the desire to win. It is no longer a battle for nothing, but a battle that must be won. But it is estimated that Madara will not think of the second usage of the breath of Huang Izumi, right? Originally, this trick was to be reserved for the most critical time, but now it seems that it has to enter this stage. Judging from the full calculation, Neji's left eye now has the ability to cleanse the eye. If he has to give it up, he can also release a more powerful Huang Izumi's breath in his right eye. It's boring. Madara stopped and stepped back quickly. Neji, who is stagnant in the air, jumped next to Sasuke and Naruto. Neji, this is... what's going on? Naruto looked curiously at Neji, who seemed to be trapped in a water prison. At this moment, Neji seemed to have become a sculpture. Sasuke has Mangekyo Sharingan, so he can see the way to some extent, he said. Judging from Madara's reaction just now, Neji should have used some special defensive ninjutsu. But the reason why this kind of defensive ninjutsu has been kept until this time. Reuse, it should have a certain risk in itself, right? What's the risk? What kind of risk is unclear. The Hyuga family is an ancient family like the Uchiha family, but Byakugan's abilities are not developed as comprehensively as Sharingan, and there may be many secrets hidden in Byakugan. From now on, Neji, the space around you is very strange. Time or space, how much power is used in it? Now the worst plan. Sasuke let out a breath and said, it can only be used as Neji's self-defense, not to save his life, but to prevent Madara from taking his Byakugan. Sasuke's calm analysis, in terms of mind, he is undoubtedly better than Naruto. And Naruto was just worried about Neji, and asked excitedly, what do you mean by all this? What do you mean, Sasuke? Sasuke got a little impatient, and said helplessly, that's what it means. Just treat it as Neji in another space or time. Can't come back. It's the same as back then. At that time. Yes, 2 years ago, after the sword dance ended, Hyuga Neji disappeared out of thin air in everyone's eyes. It's possible to jump in time or space. Hearing this answer, Naruto looked suspicious. This kind of thing, is it really possible for a human to do it?